One step back, 3 steps forward. I want you to remember that theme today. Okay? I want you to remember that theme. Today is the official start of the new year for the National Football League, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. I am expecting Dallas Goedert to be cut or moved in some capacity. He has played his last down. Now, this is just an opinion for the Philadelphia Eagles. They are in a cost-cutting mode right now. It's not because they don't have the money. It's because they do the thing that's the most important thing on winning football in the NFL, especially when you're in a salary cap era. All right, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Super chats go to the top. We appreciate all of you guys. You know, when the Eagles and Eagle fans were at the parade, Xander and all the guys, great time for everybody. Do you know what the philosophy is and what I'm now getting on how the Eagles do business? They're going to run it back. They're not going to run it back with the roster. They're going to run it back in philosophy. They believe so much in their process, and their process can be validated with the success of the wins and the NFC championships and the 2 Super Bowls over the last 8 years. They're going on that theory. They're basically taking a page out of what the Rams did. Hey, guys, I'm not saying you're not going to compete this year, but you may make a step backwards in player development to have 3 great more years. You may have a 2023 season this year. And by the way, today on March 12th, I am not saying that. You may. It's clearly not the same football team as a month ago. You would be high to think you're the best team in the NFL and not in the mix of the conversation with all the good teams in the NFL. You're not the same. Chemistry's not the same. You don't have the same talent on the defensive side of the ball. Steve is elite. I think you're talking about little Stevie. We may have to show you little Stevie here. Please hit the like button. By the way, this is not a negative conversation here. But they're going to run the philosophy back. They look at the players that they lost and say, we can do it again. Because they believe in the coaching. They believe in the player development. They believe in the player evaluation. That's where they are. Let's do this here. Okay? I mean, this is a philosophical thing. It's a philosophical thing. They're getting rid of Goddard in some capacity. And I've been saying this for weeks. I think Dallas Goedert's not coming back. No one wanted to believe me. Now, it's not cost-cutting for the Eagles. It's cap management. I am going to give Howie Roseman kudos on this, and I think this is an exceptional job by him. Howie Roseman has discipline in how he handles the cap and how he handles paying players. He stays with discipline. Jerry Jones has no discipline on this. Many football teams in the NFL do not practice discipline when it comes to paying players. You know what happens? They get ahead of themselves. Do you know what Howie does in that meaning when he gets ahead of himself? They may get ahead of themselves in paying a player maybe too soon. But what's the key that he does in his contracts that maybe nobody else does? You know what that is? He gives himself a back door. How I can get out of it. Howie always has a back door on getting out of these deals. Cooper Kupp just got released. Why? Because the Rams pushed their chips in, and the Rams had to make a Dallas Goedert decision. They didn't want to get rid of Cooper Kupp. That is a Dallas Goedert decision. They didn't want to move on from Kupp. That's not what you want to do. The exiting of all these good players is a concern for only one reason. Here, let me write it down. Milton Williams, 25. Josh Sweat, 27. Gardner-Johnson, 27. These aren't Khalil Mack, 35-year-old players. These are players just coming into their prime. That's not the philosophy you want to do. But how he looks at the money. Let's make this very clear. There is no question the Philadelphia Eagles do not look at themselves as a defensive football team. Not in any shape or form do they look at themselves as an NFL defensive team, even though that defense carried you to the Super Bowl. Clearly carried you to the Super Bowl. Okay? By the way, we got a little bit more insight on Gardner-Johnson's release or being traded to the Texans. Make no mistake about it, Fangio signed off on it. And one of the things that he did not like about it was that Gardner-Johnson would come out of the scheme of the defensive call and he would play on Gardner-Johnson Island. And he thought he could get a more disciplined player in that position or coach a more disciplined player in that position. He felt he could get an upgrade with a player who could play more in the scheme. Hey, the one thing about CJ, he's always around the ball. Hence his 12 interceptions in 2 years playing with the Eagles. No question. Guy's a ball hawk. But 25% of the time he's out of position. So Vic said, I could find a guy to cover that 25%, not being in the structure of the defense, and I'll find a more competent guy. He may not be as talented, but remember something. It wasn't about the massive talent on the team a year ago. It was about the collective group on the team a year ago defensively. That's what it was about. Vic's looking for a group of guys, not a collection of guys like the Cowboys do. Lawrence, Parsons. That's not going to win Super Bowls, Diggs. You had 3 Pro Bowlers on that defense, and you were still destroyed on the run. Why? You had no integrity on your scheme of defense. That's not what that guy Vic Fangio does. It's all about the unit. Anthony, Howie Roseman makes every single final call on money and player acquisition. Nobody else does. It'll be his call. Vic said, yes, we can do without. Howie probably went to him. Can we do without him? Yes. Okay. Thanks. Vic didn't say cut him, trade him. That's on Howie Roseman. Howie builds the roster. This was the problem that Doug Peterson had, was the control of the roster that Howie had in money and in how they were going to delegate whether or not they were going to keep a player, make him a core guy, or tell him he's not part of the future of the team. Same thing with the O-line. I'll make this point to you. This Kenyon Green kid, if Tyler Steen, who could not beat out Mekhi Becton last year, can't beat out Kenyon Green, he's a bust. He is a third-round bust if Steen can't beat that guy out too. He lost the job a year ago. There was an open competition at right guard. Open competition. He got beat out. If he gets beat out again, he's Andre Dillard. That's who he becomes. Then you start to find out competition-wise, guys you want to row out to sea with. That's what they're doing. Do I think right now the Eagles are doing harm to the chances of them being a championship team. No, they're doing everything what is necessary to make sure, like, look, the interim may not look good, but the end result, he's a finish line guy. This is about the next 5 years, not the next year. And that's why some of you are sitting here going, and I agree. What I hated yesterday about what happened to the defense, that's a generational defense that you took a blowtorch to. At the end of the day, Howie didn't give a shit about that, nor did Jeffrey Lurie. In some aspects, nor did Vic Fangio. They didn't give a shit about it. There is an absolute philosophy in how they do business. They see themselves as an offensive football team, plain and simple. They don't want to be known as a defensive side of the football. That's what made me mad. We traded CJ for stale French fries. Could at least traded him for a second-round pick or a better caliber player. It's a total shitty pick by the Texans, and it's a shitty trade by the Eagles. By the way, what makes no sense of that deal, you save no cap, you save cash. Okay. Get this. Do you know what that comes down to? I don't want to pay him. I just didn't basically want to play him or pay him. I don't want him on the roster anymore. Okay, what's your game plan? Sidney Brown is not it. You don't have CJ Gardner-Johnson's replacement on your roster. You do not. So you're going to go into the draft and you're going to have player development. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. There is going to be more spreading of the salary cap by Howie in the next couple months here. Here, I'll make this point to you. Jerry Jones was right when he was at the combines. Bills are due. Well, that's what you're seeing. Howie's got to manage the cap, and he is. Howie's not doing anything wrong. You know what he's doing? He's ensuring success. That's what he's doing. He's ensuring the success. He may have to throw, get this, use this analogy. It's like you're rowing out to sea. The boat's taking water on. You got to throw 3 guys off the boat to ensure 200 people live. That's what he's doing. He's ensuring that the group wins by sacrificing 5. It's a smart philosophy. The Cowboys in 30 years have never believed in that philosophy. And that's why, for the last 30 years, the Philadelphia Eagles have fucking owned them. That's why, hey, that's right, I see somebody in here. The credit card had a little bit up near the max limit, right, Aunt Betty? Now you got to make cuts so that you can maneuver and be manageable in how you're going to acquire players. I'll go back one more time and tell you flat out. They are running it back. They're running it back on philosophy. They believe Moro Jomo can step up and be effective in Milton Williams' place. They believe Jalix Hunt can step in and be accountable in taking the snaps and also being a 3-down guy. He's more of a 3-down guy than what Bryce Huff is. Personally, I would do what Jim Johnson did to Hugh Douglas. I would make a position for Bryce Huff, bring him in on third down, wind that guy up, and let him run into quarterbacks. And see if you can use him in that aspect. Vic moved Jordan Davis to the nose, and he became more effective. Anthony Sills, do you think some of the replacements on the roster, they're not going to be the top line guys just because of get this, it's not that they can't, they don't have the reps. Anthony, this is what they believe. Moro Jomo's probably the closest to being ready to start. Hunt has a long way to go because he just doesn't have the reps. He may be good. Sitting here on March 12th, I haven't seen the rep count, the practice reps. Okay? Gardner-Johnson. People are going Sidney Brown. My problem with Sidney Brown, he was evaluated by Lovie Smith. He's a good football player. Is he the starting safety for you next to Reed Blankenship? That I'm not sure because I don't believe he's a very good tackler. And I think at that position, you have to be a very good tackler. And Vic frowns on that if you're not a good tackling team. Your cornerback position is an issue, depending on what you want to do. Let me tell you this. If you move Cooper DeJean out there, you got 2 question marks you created with 1 move. Can Cooper play? Which is a philosophical answer in that I believe he can. Well, that's not a fact. That's a question. Then who plays the nickel corner? Keely Ring? You guys elevate and evaluate your players too highly. I think the Eagles don't look at their players in the same light their fans do. Off topic. The only reason I'll go off topic right now is because JD's kind enough to throw a super at us. Thank you, JD. Off topic, but you get an edge in the first round. The position is too valuable not to put a 5th-year option on it. Safety isn't worth a 5th-year option. Yes, correct. Thank you, JD. I appreciate all who put in supers. You guys know it goes towards the network, and we appreciate that. So again, this is about managing the cap. The discipline that Roseman has is probably the best. I'll tell you the other guy that does that. It's Les Snead and Kevin Demoff with the Rams. They do look how fast they pushed their chips in, got a Super Bowl out of it, took a step back, and now they're taking steps forward. That's exactly what the Eagles are doing. The only thing different is the down season for the Eagles after their Super Bowl 22 or the 22 Super Bowl, they won 11 games. The Rams had a losing season. There lies the difference. Hey, Sills, remember the Patriots let go people and they were revered for it. Also, players nowadays are going to take money. And Vic knows that now has the equity. They're going to take less money, I'm assuming. No, they're not. The difference between Brady and Hurts is the moon and the sun. Hurts has an all-star roster. Brady never did on offense. Ever. He carried the Patriots on his back offensively. There's not one player in New England when they won a Super Bowl, hence underline won a Super Bowl in New England, that's going to the Hall of Fame except Gronkowski. Not one. Nobody. He didn't play with the same talent that Peyton Manning played with. Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark, Edgerrin James, Marshall Faulk. He never played with that talent. Once again, Inferno. Randy Moss didn't win a Super Bowl in New England. Holy shit. Moss doesn't own a ring. Okay, so that player had nobody. Nobody's taking a pay cut to come to Philly. You know what they will do? They'll take 1-year deals to prove it and to play for it. That's the hidden gem in Philly. Okay? Thanks for the super chat. I like what they're doing. Cap integrity. They're not the Saints. They're not poor. They aren't in a position where they don't have the money. They're looking at what's happening. Get this. Howie is being frugal with the cap and money being spent now. Why? Even with the cap going up 25% each year, it'll be over $300 million probably next year, near it. He's not spending stupid. The other issue that I have is this. Why was it so imperative to get Saquon Barkley an extension when he had time left? That's what I'm not getting. To free up a couple million? Really not getting that one. I could have sat and waited a year. Or even did it in the middle of the year. Why now? It's odd timing. Okay? It's really odd timing. Do me a favor, hit the like button, guys. I appreciate you very much. We're going to look at the draft picks. If anything has changed since, and I think it has, in mentality on how you're going to go about the April draft. I want to talk about one more time the discipline that Roseman has. Roseman has the discipline that a lot of general managers just won't. Do you know why that is? Why does Howie have the discipline that, say, Jerry Jones and most of the other general managers don't have? What's the one asset that he has? I believe it's got a lot to do with the owner giving him the latitude to be patient. Okay? I think owners like Jim Haslam, I think those guys push Andrew Berry into bad deals. Woody Johnson, Jets. They panic. David Tepper. Ziggy Wolf. Shad Khan. Jaguars. What do those guys all have a character trait of? They panic. They push their GMs to make shit moves. David Tepper drafting the kid out of Alabama over C.J. Stroud. Not having the integrity to sit and wait. Be patient. Owners push. Bidwell. Another one. Isn't it ironic the bad teams are run by bad owners? Because they're trying to catch the Lorries, the Crafts, the Packers, even though they don't have an owner, they do things well. By the way, I think Stan Kroenke is a hell of an NFL owner. Hell of an owner. Tremendous. He's got the discipline. I look at the roster now. Are you still the best team in the NFC? Yeah. Yes. I don't think your defense is near with the chemistry and talent you had a year ago. Not close. You have more questions right now than you did a year ago going into the season in September. And the draft is not going to fill that until you find out week 12 who you are. I mean, you're not the same group you were a year ago, or excuse me, a month ago. Nobody in their right mind, outside of dummy Philly Eagle fan who doesn't see where you are now, would say that. Now, do you have the organization to right the ship or keep the ship afloat and keep it going where you're going to be more successful than teams around the league? Absolutely. I see somebody in here. Are they the 25th defense? No. Absolutely not. Nobody in their right fucking mind would think you're a better team or as good losing 5 starters. What a jackass. I mean, 25th? Absolutely no. Top 10, top 12 today and could improve to being a top 5 defense? Yeah. All in the realm of feasibility, not probability. You're not doing anything wrong. It just looks bad. Hey, sometimes the start of a race doesn't look great. It's the finish. It's not the start. Now, you could trip coming out of the gate, but I don't think they've tripped. Dude, bills are due. Future contracts are on the horizon. All of that has to be dealt with. And I think, guess what he's doing? I got to tell you, man, he's doing this because of the equity they had a month ago of winning the Super Bowl in that great parade. It's the only reason they're cutting this and cutting players loose and allowing players to walk so they can have the integrity. Doing nothing wrong. Get this. I see some dumbass in here. You see this fucking loser? I haven't said one negative thing about the Philadelphia fucking Eagles, and this guy here has already got a butt plug in. They're doing everything right. Everything. They're doing nothing wrong. Okay? They're playing. That's right. Samuel, just reading your headlines. They're planning for your future. Okay? They're planning for your future. And I think they're doing it well. See this right here by Linda? Exceptional take. As long as you maintain a strong core with their current goal, the other pieces will be easier to fill. Linda, it's funny how everybody's now taking this spin I had a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I told you, Tony Dungy told me this years ago. How they built that Bucs defense was that they had Rondé Barber, Warren Sapp, John Lynch, Brad Culpepper, Booger McFarland on that defense. You know what they did? They added Simeon Rice. They added other components to the defense free agency-wise. As long as you have a core group of dudes, that's why this window of opportunity of success will be longer than 17 and 22 by far. Because you're younger and you drafted better. Absolutely true. It's a great take, Linda. That's exactly correct. I love the chicks we have in our place here. Stu, Linda, Barb, everyone. You guys are great. Great sports fans. You get it. You know it. Unlike Adios, who's a fucking tool bag. Way to go, Linda. That's how you do it. She's right. Only thing, and by the way, I've never been in a market where chicks are as smart as every guy that watches the football team on Sundays. I do love you, Sue. You kidding me? I think you're phenomenal. Only thing I would say they got wrong was CJ. I agree. They could have gotten a better deal for him. He's 27. I hate that too. It's the worst deal he's made in 5 years for me. And the Reddick deal, like Xander said, at least he got a 3 out of it. This was just, I want to get you out of here, and I want to save cash. Okay. And you get back a guy who's been a colossal bomb since he was drafted to the Texans from A&M. I mean, he's been a bum. Real question, will Hurts with weapons ever get to the point where he and the offense can carry an average defense? Anthony, Hurts is going to have to only do this. Show up in 5 games, and last year he showed up in 2 that mattered the most. The defense carried the football team the entire season. Hurts had his best games in the NFC title game and in the Super Bowl. That's all you need. Josh Allen, as great as I love that player, I don't believe with the talent they have on that team can win 3 or 4 games in a row to win a Super Bowl. The same with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. I don't believe it. I think the only quarterbacks that can do that with the limited talent they have are Joe Burrow, Mahomes, and obviously with the talent Hurts has, because he's done it, Jalen Hurts. Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are the only ones that I think can lead a team without talent. Now, I say that, and they do have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in Cincinnati. They need a running back in Cincinnati. That's their problem. They got rid of Joe Mixon, thought that they were going to start minusing players out of that offense, and it was a colossal disaster. You know why? You couldn't keep field position or time of possession. 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs. You end up losing stupid games. You know the one thing that the Philadelphia Eagles don't do? They don't lose to real shitty teams. Every team in the league loses to shitty teams. Why? Because they don't have the personnel the Eagles have. Matt D. Sills says, AJ, the only Hall of Famer for the Eagles. I'm not sure he's a Hall of Famer now. Reggie Wayne's got superior numbers. Well, how could he be a Hall of Famer over a guy he's not remotely close to? How in the world could that be? Not even remotely close to that. I mean, Reggie Wayne's got a Super Bowl, massive receptions and yardage. And he's not in the Hall yet. Got some more time. Let's see how that plays out. Hit the like button here. One more time with the discipline. People in here are talking like, well, look at all. Hey, by the way, top of the hour, I'm expecting news on Dallas Goedert here. I think this is coming. Okay? The Eagles are the only football team not to sign an external free agent. That's a new story out there. So, I don't think the free agent class was very good. The only free agent class that was worthy were the guys that were on the Eagles. Can I say something to that stupid comment? I heard Xander say that today. The Eagles are the only team not to sign an external free agent. That may be well and true. But they signed the best free agent in Zach Bond. He may not have been external, but was he not one of the top 3 free agents? You signed one of the top 3 guys. And you got him probably for $3 million less a year. The Eagles tried to get Justin Reed. Yeah, within their budget, which was never going to happen. Why? Once again, I have to keep telling you guys, you're not fighting teams. You're fighting the market now. NFL free agency is not about what team signs guys anymore. It's about how much money's being spent. Whether it's the Giants, the Redskins, the Rams, or the Chiefs. It doesn't matter any longer. It's about who will be willing to pay and not have discipline. Says, I believe Roseman's doing this for longevity. Absolutely true. Eagles are not signing players to upend comp picks. I think they're doing it not to upset the future and who they're going to sign on their own team because they love their guys. I don't think it has anything to do with comp picks. Howie's shown before that he'll sacrifice those picks. Dude, they believe in their organization right now. They have a lot of good talent. And they're right to believe that. When Howie told us to be patient, he was like, Ned Stark, winter's coming. CJ's trade sucked, but there's got to be a plan. Howie's a schemer. I don't really think there's any scheming to this. I think this is just smart business. They got to, folks, we win championships, but structurally won't be a dynasty. That's a fucking great take. That's a great take. You may have to redefine what dynasty is in the salary cap era too with that. That's a great take. You may win 3 more Super Bowls or 2 more Super Bowls. They just won't come consecutively. That's a phenomenal take. That's correct. Kimbo's excellent. Yes, I 1,000% subscribe to that. That's exactly where you are in the cap era of today. Listen, the money going up the way it's going up, you've got to be smarter on how you vision and how you see your team looking in 3 years. Dude, guys, if you win 3 more Super Bowls or 2 more Super Bowls in the next 5 years, is Howie's game plan worth it? Would you take one 2003 season for 2 more Super Bowls? I wouldn't. I would. Let me tell you this. It's funny. Xander and I were talking about business plans prior to coming on the air. No matter what the business, there's a business plan. And you try to fit everything into that business plan while growing. That's what the Eagles are doing. For the betterment of the health of the business, you're doing this, and this, moving here, getting rid of Gardner-Johnson to give the money to Bond, because I think he's more of a valued asset. This is what they're doing. They're valuing assets. They're not valuing players. Well, the players are the assets. They see Cooper as an asset they want to invest in. They see Quinyon Mitchell as an asset they want to invest in. They actually see Moro Jomo as an investment and an asset they want to invest in. Why? Rookie deal? Not a lot of money? We developed them? I got Vic. This is not that hard. Funny, the Cowboys can't follow along with that. It's not just about Howie spending the right money and doing great contracts. It's about managing that fucking cap, which Jerry is the worst at. Hey, by the way, to be candid, Jimmy Johnson never had to deal with that. And when he did have to start dealing with salary cap, that was in Miami. It was okay. I think we should bring in Justin Simmons on a 1-year deal, cheap. $8 million? Same money Gardner-Johnson was making. Or Samuel Jr., if they're still available. 25 years old, could see it fit perfectly with Q. Okay. That sounds right on a 1 year. As long as they're 1 year deals, Eagles are going to be open to that because that's how they do business. I don't have a problem. Again, we're coming up to the witching hour. I think Dallas Goedert's out. Some would go, what's the plan? You know what the plan is? A Super Bowl in the next 2 years. That's the plan. Dallas Goedert is a guy you throw overboard. Too rich and often hurt. He's not an asset you move forward with. Is that tough? Well, welcome to the NFL. By the way, I don't have a problem moving off of him. Most receptions in the playoffs. So? You win the Super Bowl running the ball. That's how you got there. They're not doing anything wrong. Dude, you can't afford a guy like Milton Williams. You just don't want to put your assets on. By the way, like I said, that's not how they do business. They're never going to be a defensive-minded team. Never. Okay? By the way, that Dallas Goedert, hey, how about this? That Dallas Goedert deal, that's just an opinion. Let's see what happens at 1 o'clock. Got no guaranteed money on his deal. I think he's done. By the way, they're asking for a 4th rounder. Those of you in here going, he's not going anywhere. Then why are the Eagles shopping him? And they are shopping him. Marcus is like, he's not going anywhere. They're shopping him. Hit the like button. Guys, do me a favor. We appreciate you guys. Super chats, we thank you. Justin Simmons, 1 year older guy. I mean, I don't know. I'd rather have the Samuel kid because he's younger and he might pan out to be somebody. Justin Simmons, you know what? Listen, if you sign Justin Simmons, okay, they signed Justin Simmons, you made a lateral move. You didn't save any money. He's going to cost you $8 million. By the way, I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm fucking telling you what you've done, Eagle fan. Fucking listen. I'm not acting like a GM. I'm telling you what I'm seeing him do. Holy shit. Another guy who's here trying to tell you that I'm fucking making suggestions to him, and I'm not. I'm telling you what he's doing. What a stupid ass. You know, don't listen to the guy who's delivering you what they're doing. Look at your own team and what they're doing. They're whacking players for the health of the future. Jesus criminy. Some of you guys get so butthurt over any little thing. You must beat the shit out of your kid if he's got spilt milk or burns the toast. But on. I think as long as Howie keeps improving on his draft on defense and they keep the quality of the coaching staff, that's a key component there to develop. You keep the defense cheap while selectively getting specifically free agents to sign and bring in and fill gaps. Absolutely, Harv. Okay? Simmons is the lateral move. Xander will join us at 3:30. Then we will have our friend Philly 500. By the way, guys, maybe you guys want to send something to Mark Holmes. He lost his father-in-law. and he passed away, and that's why he's not on the program. He sends his love, and we send our condolences to him too. Mark's always a great sport coming on and fighting back and forth with Philly 500, but he's truly a friend of mine, and I like the kid. And I'm just sending some condolences out to him that he lost his father-in-law. So all good, Mark. We're thinking about you, man. I mean, hey, by the way, I feel bad for him, man. That's terrible. Then he's got to turn around and cover that Cowboy team. Holy crap. You know what the Cowboys' big move is? Nothing. How you doing? Hey, Sills, you think with these young guys gave Howie the confidence to let players walk and the equity of Vic is built up, still going for the offense? Yes. I think Vic Fangio, the biggest winner of this past season, has been Vic Fangio because he's built equity up in that building now. The same equity that Jeff Stoutland has built up. They have the two best coaches right now in the NFL. Well, Spagnuolo's spectacular too. But they have the two best, hottest coaches right now at their positions. Jeff Stoutland and Vic Fangio. Both sides of the football. I don't know who Kevin Patullo is, nor do I care really. You know what I would say to Kevin Patullo? Don't get in the way. Don't get in the way. Do the right thing. Run the ball. Okay? Always. Hit the like button. Again, some people are sitting here going, what are you not watching? Hey, I see this. See this here? See this? Let me ask you guys one question before we move on. Not to get off topic here. What would you have done to Andy Reid if he got destroyed like that in the Super Bowl? And he was in Philly, even with the Super Bowls he won. And he got destroyed like that and abused in a Super Bowl and embarrassed like that. He would have been crucified for that game. Thank God he's in shitty-ass Kansas City. Because, again, and now I know that guy, right? The sports talk guy, he started in Kansas City. Now I know why, with all of his soft-ass takes, that guy started his career in Kansas City. Because if he was in Philly, people be coming off the top rope on Andy Reid. Nick Wright would be, no wonder he started there. Oh, we know they played poor. You know what his take was? Oh, he just played poorly that night, and the Chiefs played poorly. That's no excuse on getting boat raced. That's no excuse on being destroyed like that. You don't get an excuse. Hey, getting beat's one thing. Getting boat raced is another thing. The Chiefs, here, let me do it for you. I rarely do it when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to show you this. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Chiefs, that's as close as the game was. The coin toss. He boat raced them. Can you imagine Andy Reid in Philly coming home, getting off the plane? You throw eggs at him. They played the worst game of the year in 3 years. That was his take. I'm like, what are you talking about? Andy Reid's in heaven now. Soft-ass Kansas City versus hardcore Philly. Shit, Nick Sirianni had to fight for his job going into the bye week this past Super Bowl season. Getting destroyed by 50 points almost. Hey, it's okay. Nobody talks like that. that's a constant winner and wins championships. And nobody gets passes. You don't get passes in this. You're not graded on a bell curve. Give me a break. I'm going to do the draft picks here in a second. Roseman's doing the right thing. He's keeping discipline, and he's looking out for the success of the team. As much as I want to keep killing him, and guys, I get it. I'm disappointed too. That's a really great defense that was destroyed. You know what it kind of reminds me of? The Chicago Bulls were taken apart, and they lost the championship. You know how? The Michael Jordan teams? They lost it because of a boardroom, not because of playing on the hardwood. Krause and Reinsdorf took the team apart. Decision-making took the Bulls apart. Nobody ever beat them on the court. Okay? The Bulls have never been the same. Sometimes you make the right calls. Sometimes you don't. The Bulls are the quintessential example of that. Jerry Krause believed he had the remedy to keep the thing going, and he never did because he had the one signature player. Can you imagine not even wanting Michael Jordan back? That's ego. Ego destroyed the Bulls. That is the prime example of an organization believing they know what's best and not getting it right. So I'm afraid in the next 10 minutes, you might see Roseman. First CJ, probably Goddard. Who's next? Arthur? AJ. God help us. I don't believe AJ's next. Not this year. Maybe next year. AJ Brown's not fit. How many people in here believe AJ Brown's finishing his career as an Eagle? I don't. Not a chance in hell. 2 minutes. There's a rumor now that AJ Brown's going to be traded to the Patriots. There's a rumor going around that A.J. Brown is going to be traded to the Patriots. Hang tight here. Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's a rumor right now. There's a rumor going around. We talked about this the other day. One minute. Hey, Brian. Mike Vrabel is making a push to trade for A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown. I just sent a text to Alonzo Highsmith, who works with the Patriots. It is now top of the hour. 3 o'clock. Got an hour left. There is a rumor going around that they are going to trade AJ and potentially land on the 4th pick in the draft. I believe that's where the Patriots are for AJ Brown. Yeah. And I believe that would be Abdul Carter. Word is coming down to Jeffrey Lurie's decision. I don't believe he does it. I do not believe he does it. Yep. There's two other teams. Or could it be Travis Hunter? I'm with you, Chris. I would be shocked, but not surprised. Wow. Could you imagine getting Christian Gonzalez in the 4th pick and then getting Abdul Carter for A.J. Brown? At 4, you take the best guy available. Travis Hunter and Quinyon Mitchell playing corner, and Cooper in the slot and Reed. You'd have the best secondary and the best young secondary in pro football. Something's happening. Something's happening, freaks. How would that look? Abdul Carter, Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, Moro Jomo, Jalen Carter, N'Kobe, and Zach Bond. Did you upgrade? Would you have upgraded? And you get them on rookie deals. It's not, hey, I'm spitballing here. That's not a bad look. So you get Abdul Carter in the 1st round. He's got a 5th-year option. You get him on a rookie contract for 4 years. You maybe get Christian Gonzalez to play your safety position where you lost Gardner-Johnson. You send AJ there, and at 32, you draft a receiver? To cover for AJ. Huh. Remember something. Again, that's a haul. I would do it and then trade that 4th pick for more assets. Trade down. Good. Again, do I believe that AJ? No. I think, but I do believe that Howie's taking the phone call. Why wouldn't he? Get this. If you're in a cost reduction time and AJ's the next guy up. Get this. I see a guy in here going, none of this is happening. Oh, no, the conversations are happening. The actual execution is not probably happening. Have you ever been in a room where guys were making phone calls on the start of the new year when free agency starts or a draft? I have. There's multiple phones going off. How in the world would you even know what you're talking about? You've never been in a room. Hey, he's probably right. He's probably right. They ate $32 million of Carson Wentz's deal. Actually, $33 million. They actually ate $33 million of Wentz's deal when they sent him to Indianapolis. And if I'm not mistaken, somebody took Matt Ryan's $38 million hit Atlanta when they sent him to Indianapolis. Howie would be a fool not to listen to the phone call. Yeah, listening to the phone call and pulling the lever is two different things. Okay? Two different things. Give me a total on the likes. Guys, thank you to the supers. I appreciate it. Harv, Howie would be a fool not to listen to the phone call. You never know what could happen. Think about every angle. That's exactly what Howie does and is doing. Samuel, possibilities are endless, aren't they? Reality starts to focus in. Okay? Tills, I'm starting to see how the offseason could be more fun than the regular season. The suspense and drama is crazy. Same with the draft. Absolutely. Total fun. Total fun. Because, you know why, Samuel? Everything's a possibility. I mean, seriously, man, this is like Willy Wonka time. Anything is possible. Cody, I think you're right. I think you're right. How important is AJ to the offense? Well, last year, his importance was in the run game. Tells you how important he is. You have to defend that guy. I'll tell you something. You take A.J. Brown off that offense, that hurts Saquon Barkley just as much as it hurts Jalen Hurts. Because you have to defend that guy. How many times did you come on this program and me say this about A.J. Brown? That guy being out there, okay? Him being a pseudo decoy is as important as him throwing the ball. And how many other times did you hear me say, how is that guy on that slant pattern? How is he single covered? Because Barkley made it impossible to cover the two. I trade AJ and Hurts for Lamar. Not me. Why? What's the point? They're better together than Henry and Lamar. They proved it. Why would you do that? Jalen and Saquon won the argument. Who's a better duo? Lamar, Henry? Or, Lamar and Henry? Or Saquon and Jalen? Jalen won it. Won a Super Bowl. Went for $2,000. Seals, if the deal is AJ for Gonzalez in the fourth pick, I happen to think that's rich, but that's what's being floated around. By the way, that's not my take. It's a smash concept. Oh, it's a smash accept. Howie should be fired if he says no. Listen, just because that's an offer doesn't mean you execute it. And I don't believe that Elliott Wolf is offering that. I text Alonzo. I doubt he's going to tell me what's going on before the start of free agency at 4 o'clock. That being said, if Kraft says yes, he needs a CAT scan. Dude, they want A.J. Brown up there for whatever reason. They want to him and Vrabel got that whole situation, from what I was told, it was the GM that wanted his ass out and didn't want to pay him the money that the Eagles initially paid him on that first contract when they traded for him. Mike Vrabel was so against that move on trading A.J. Brown. He thought that's what made Henry great also. You know, the same things that made Derrick Henry great in Tennessee is the same thing that made Saquon great when A.J. was in Philly. I mean, there's no coincidence that he played with two of the best runners in the last 20 years in the NFL. Do you think there's a coincidence to that? Right? There's no coincidence, do you think? I mean, A.J. Brown is as important in that offense to Hurts, Barkley, the potential in the passing game. He's an essential piece. He's a very expensive piece. Let's take a look at that. What is the cap right now? It's what? 281? And let's just use the cash because Howie used the cash on CJ. Both tackles. Times 2. That's $50 million. Guards 20. That's 70. The tight end's 15. That's 85. Wide receivers 35. That's 120. The other wide receiver's 25. It's 145. The back's 20. The quarterback is 50. Just in salaries alone, your offense costs $215 million a year. Of a $279 million salary cap. Now you know why they're cutting. That is a cash, expensive offense. I get the caps. I get it. That's a ton of money. It's a ton of money. Now you know why they cut Gardner-Johnson. Cut Gardner-Johnson over Doe. They got rid of Slay over Doe. But it's about what we talked about when we opened the show. We talked about cap integrity. Remember something too, folks. During this time, prior to heading up to the 4 o'clock in free agency, you're going to hear the fucking craziest deals on the planet. You're going to hear all kinds of shit. Hang in there. Got the right guy at the helm. Okay? You're eventually moving off of A.J. Brown. Like I said, I didn't see it. How many people in here believe A.J. Brown's ending his career in Philly? Hang on here. I don't believe it. Because I don't see the compensation yet. I don't see the compensation. I want to, I don't, that's not going to be the compensation. If there is, by the way, Elliott Wolf and Alonzo Highsmith have called for the availability of A.J. Brown. That's a fact. Now, that doesn't mean shit. That does not mean anything. I guess I have an answer. Would I do it? Nobody's untradeable. What are you going to give me? Here. I'll tell you what I would want for A.J. Brown. I'd want your 4th pick. I'd want Gonzalez, and I'd want a 3rd. Patriots ain't doing that. Well, then the fucking deal's off. That's what I would want. And they're not doing that. Okay? I mean, do you know the Patriots probably offered a couple twos, maybe a one next year? And Howie's like, no. Hey, just like the Myles Garrett deal. Howie probably looked at that and went, you want what kind of players? What? No. You're on the starter poll. Okay? You're on the pole position. You don't have to do shit. Howie's cutting money to make moves in the draft and create. You need $25 million for your draft picks, roughly 18 to 20, I think it is. Hit the like button, guys. Give me a total on the likes. You guys are killing it. It is always a fun time this time of year. Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Philly 500 will join us at 4:30. Lane ain't going anywhere. Too rich, too old, too good. Okay? 147. Let's get that puppy up there. Too good, too old, too rich. That ain't going anywhere. By the way, on my team, here's what I would trade for Jordan Mailata. 2 1s, a 3. Nobody's doing that because I'm not getting rid of him. Landon would have to give me 1, 2, 3. Jalen Carter. By the way, I'm showing you my value. That's 2 1s, 2 3s. Nobody's doing that. Devontae, a 2, 3, maybe another one. Hurts, 1, 2 1s, a 3, and future. Cooper DeJean and Keaton Mitchell have not built equity up for me to set. They're just too young to put a value on it because if you moved them, it'd be stupid. 1 year, no one's giving somebody 1s and 2s. Want to see the guy play another year. Like Sauce Gardner. Would I give you the 4th pick in the draft for Sauce Gardner? I don't know. Sills, can you imagine Travis Hunter, Gonzo? It's generational. How we get it done. Throw in Max. Elite pass rusher, Huff. Dude, like I said, I mean, and by the way, do I think the Patriots have the money? How do you know that Howie has to cut all these players and had players move on because they're willing to take some hits? But then again, that's not what they do. You know what they may be right now? They may be cash poor, but they're not cap poor. That's not how he does business. They may be a little bit frugal in the money that they're spending, but they're not going to be cap poor. That's not how they've maintained success. Okay? That's just not how they've done it. $17 million in cap. Look, like I said, I saw some of the projections right now where they are. By the way, I got people sitting on my phone and on my X account going, Sills, you hear what they're talking about in New England? I said this shit. They've been hoping for this in New England for the last 4 months about acquiring AJ. That's all I hear out of the people in Boston. I did sports talk radio at WEEI, and I know a ton of the people up there. It's called Sports Pub and EEI. I worked at EEI. And they want him up there. I don't know what this fetish is with Jeffrey Lurie in Boston. I guess that's where he's from. Tried buying the Celtics. He loves that area. And he's friends with Kraft. Don't believe everything you're hearing right now. Okay? Sills. Yo, Sills. Eagles salary cap breakdown. Offense, 133. Defense, 74. Special, 6.4. Lions, 145. Defense, 83. Special teams, 5.8. Pretty much the same. Those are big numbers offensively. And you're obviously putting in cap. And you're talking about the cap hits. I think that's cap hit, isn't it? It's cap breakdown. Okay, you're right. I got it, Slagger. Thank you. That's the cap breakdown. And that pretty much comes up to around what? $219,000 for both sides of the football for the Eagles. But still latitude to make moves. A lot of conversation going on around the league right now. I don't think this is going to be a very quiet 4 o'clock Eastern. Eagles are either going to make a move or they're going to make a move to reduce more salary. I think it's more the latter, to reduce more salary. And I think it's Goddard. Would he make a trade for Trey Hendrickson? I don't think Trey Hendrickson's going to cost you a first. Might cost you a 2 and a 5. Would you for Trey Hendrickson and Duke Tobin in Cincinnati give a 2 and a 5, the Brian Burns total, and then give more money to Trey Hendrickson? It's starting to look like a good move to me. He's a young player, led the NFL in sacks. You put him on the other side of Nolan Smith, your D-line looks like this. Trey Hendrickson, Moro Ajomo, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean, and Zach Bond would be your front 7. That's not awful. A 2 and a 5 for a guy who led the NFL in sacks versus a marginal draft of edge rushers. Might not even be a 2 and a 5. Because he's not, remember, Brian Burns was 26 when the Giants dealt him. And I believe they had to sign him to a $25 million a year deal. Why did Trey Hendrickson do against Fred? And he's starting. So you're telling me that's an indictment on the player's career because Fred Johnson had a good game against him. I saw the guard that you had a year ago play against Aaron Donald. He shut him down. Is he better than Aaron Donald? Supeta had a great game against Aaron Donald. What happened to that guy? Oof. Man, I'm not believing that deal. And by the way, you know when you hear people talking about dead money, if you know anything about the CPA, you can defer that money out nowadays because of the collective bargaining agreement. They don't want to be, and owners did not want to be any longer in the position where they couldn't renegotiate that money, so they ripped the collective bargaining agreement up 3 years ago because they didn't want the Todd Gurley, Clay Matthews Jr. deals hanging around their necks like an albatross. They were able to restructure that deal, that CBA, and the collective bargaining agreement you can defer dead money. So it's not all in one hit. You keep rotating that money like you did the Alshon Jeffries deal. $5 million, $5 million, $5 million. He was owed $15 million in a cap hit. Then they split it up in 3 years. 5, 5, 5. The CBA is right there on the NFL Players Association website. People should read it. You could defer it. Sills, we get Gonzalez rookie contract. Again, Bob, I think it's crazy talk, but I get it. It's conversation. I think it's a good deal. But how much do you hurt the offense in that? Remember something here, Bob. That sounds great. The Eagles don't look at themselves as a defensive team. So that's why I think that deal's negated. They do not look at themselves as a defensive football team. That's why they took a blowtorch to the defense. They look at themselves as an offensive-minded organization. Plain and simple. Okay? Boston is trying to will this thing, and I mean, you overpay for AJ, and now you're trying to will. I mean, you overpay for Milton, and now you're trying to will AJ. Good luck to you. Do I believe it? No. But for the conversation, Bob, you gave me Abdul Carter and a player, and I could fill holes with even younger contracts, which manages my money, and I got potentially better. I don't know. But I just don't think they covet the defensive side of the ball like that. I think they look at AJ as a huge asset. Now, here's the deal that made New England great. New England moved off of guys when they had another great year in their resume. And that's how they got equity back to keep the roster going. They would trade a Richard Seymour. They would trade a Darrelle Revis. To your point, Bob, that's how they kept winning Super Bowls. You know how they won Super Bowls in New England? They managed the cap. They moved off the players and made the tough moves when they didn't want to or had to, but they did it to keep the integrity of the roster. And that's exactly what gave them the flexibility for 20 years and why they went to numerous Super Bowls. Was exactly that reason there. And the quarterback was never the highest paid player in the league. And to the point now, Jalen is not. Shit, in 3 more years, Jalen Hurts will probably be like Mahomes, not in the top. You know, Mahomes is the 12th highest paid quarterback in the league. Now, his payouts are different than even Dak. You know that Mahomes makes more in a payout than Dak does? I'll take that any day. You can give me that wishful thinking fucking contract that Dak has in Dallas. Mahomes is getting paid more every year in buyouts and incentives and in contract money. They have a philosophy in what they're doing. There's no doubt about it. Now, listen, taking a phone call on AJ is smart business. You know the value of him. You know the value of all of your players when you're picking the phone up. If you don't pick the phone up, how do you know what your value is? It's smart to go back and forth. Somebody calls you and says, hey, I want to trade for AJ. Okay. First you start laughing, right? First you start laughing. Then you go, well, what are you thinking? A 2 and a 5. Come on, man. Don't waste my time. Let me tell you this. The New England Patriots and Elliott Wolf and Alonzo Highsmith calling Howie Roseman, they're not calling Howie to waste his time. That is a fact that they have been in conversation with him. You think you're going to call Howie to try to trade Bryce Huff? That's not going to move the needle for Howie. So when you call him, you got to make it at least worth his time. He's on the phone all the time, especially for I have the leverage because I have the better player. You're a shitty team with great picks. You know what the leverage the Patriots have? They have great picks in the draft. They're in the top end. The Eagles are in the bottom end. How important is that draft to Philly? Again, all conversations right now, there's nothing wrong with picking the phone up. I would say this, again, me, 4 o'clock, I think it's Goddard conversation. I don't think it's Brown. That's the New England media. But it's true. The Patriots have had numerous conversations with Howie Roseman. That doesn't necessarily mean the lever's being pulled. Let's say this. Before I get Xander on here, do you not agree that there's been a lot of exits here? Would you not agree? Right? You've lost some pretty good ball players. And like I mentioned, Milton Williams is 25, Sweat's 27, CJ's 27. We're not talking about old man Khalil Mack guys. They believe in what they're doing. All right. I was listening to John today. John was great. All their guests were great. By the way, Philly 500 is going to join us at 4:30. We'll be after the hour, and deals potentially could be coming in at that time. I think we're going to get more of an insight of what's going on with the Dallas. That's more the reality of the convo where I'm at. What's going to happen with Dallas Goedert. But 4 o'clock Eastern time is when free agency supposedly officially starts and the new year starts. And that means if you're not under contract, you automatically are no longer part of that organization. That's the start of the new year. All right. Please hit the like button. Without further ado, guys are doing such a great job. Like I said, man, I tuned on some other Philly shows this morning. They were terrible. Listening to Birds 365, it was great. Without further ado, our boy Big Z, Xander Krause, joins us now.
What's up, Big Sills? How we doing, brother?
How much movement do you expect to see today in the league?
I don't know. It's one of those things where like they kind of like the pop of the new league year starting isn't the same with the legal tampering period because everything is done. But I am interested to see with guys like Slay, Goddard, what's going to happen with Goddard. I think you're right on him. I think he's probably gone, unfortunately. I think there's going to be a lot of movement, man. Look, someone nailed it in a comment earlier. The offseason is more fun than the regular season, man, because there's just suspense. There's more speculation. There's a subjectivity to it. So it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Let's start first with Goddard, man. You think he's traded? You think he's cut? You think he's extended after 4 o'clock?
Well, after talking to John this morning and learning about the Eagles prioritizing cash like crazy right now because I wouldn't say they're cash poor. They're not cash poor at all. But what they are is paying Jalen Hurts, massive deal. A.J. Brown, massive deal. Devontae Smith, massive deal. Saquon, Landon, Zach Bond, Mailata, Lane. And remember, these deals come out and we're all like, oh my God, Howie with another great deal. When we look at the numbers, well, the reason those deals look so good is because they use a lot of cash. They are the number one cash spending football team in the NFL in the last decade, which is pretty remarkable, and it's by a wide margin. So that's why.
Hey, Xander, can I stop you there for a second?
Sure,
when Ron said that this morning, he may be right in that aspect, but you know why they're the most, where they spend the most? It's because they put the money up front the most.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's why
but at the
contracts are
end,
team
they
friendly.
don't really. Yeah, they give more money up front, and that's where the real money is, and that's where. But the majority of their contracts, I would ask John this: how many of their defensive contracts ever get fulfilled on a 3-year deal? I would say that number is very low.
They're 2-year deals, all of them. None of them are 3-year
Or
deals.
one.
Yeah, 2 or 1 year deals. But no, that's what I was saying. I mean, they front load a lot of cash. So again, they've emptied the reserve a little bit when you're talking about some of the deals they've signed, and then they're forward looking like Jalen Carter. I mean, let's just speculate real quick a Carter deal. Let's say it's 4 years, and let's just say it's $35 million. That's $140 million. Now, if they guarantee $100 million, $100 million is going in escrow. Okay, so they got to be cash liquid on that deal. They got a bunch of other deals coming up. So they looked at Gardner-Johnson and they said, "Hey, he's not a core guy. We're not paying him the $8.5 million cash this year. We got to start putting that in the till for the big deals coming up." Now you go to Goddard. I think they feeling the same about him. They know he's important. They know he's a good player. They know that they like him, but are they going to give him the cash he wants right now? When he's not a core guy on the offense? Probably not. So I would assume he's probably gone, but I would say that's a mistake. If that happens, I would say that's a mistake.
Why in the world, if you're being frugal and you're Howie and the Eagles, why would you give Barkley an extension?
I don't know. They identified him as a core piece. So I guess they only had one more year left on the deal, guaranteed. They knew they were going to pay Jalen Carter a bunch of money next year, and he was probably the only other core piece that they wanted to lock up before then. So they got the deal done now, and then that probably wiped out guys like Gardner, guys like Dallas Goedert, stuff like that. So I said the same thing, and the organizational spin right now is that he's a foundational piece, and that's why they paid him versus the other guys. I'm with you. I mean, you're telling me you're cash poor and you're losing Gardner-Johnson, but you're paying Saquon. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it does. If it does, because not everything is in a vacuum, right? There's more reasons for everything. If you can be a business owner and you can try and cut and know that you're not cutting everywhere, you look at your team, right? And you're like, okay, where can we save cash this year? Well, I'm not going to get rid of Saquon. I'm not going to save cash there. Gardner, though, kind of a headache online, kind of a nightmare in the locker room, kind of freelances in Fangio's defense. All right, we could probably cut. Like, that's how it works, right? There's a lot of things that go into these deals and into these decisions, and all of them mattered for Gardner, and I would imagine they're all going to matter for Goddard as well. I mean, Sills, you bring up the injuries all the time. The Eagles organization believes the same thing.
Yeah, I agree.
When they don't pay Goddard, you're going to know why. They don't look at him as a foundational piece because of those injuries year in and year out. Right. So
I don't. That makes me do this then. I would be stunned if they gave Cam Jurgens an extension.
Me too.
Are you really going to do that over a guy who had a back injury like that was so significant that he had to have nerve damage in surgery? Listen, I told you the word chronic makes me nervous. Yeah. Injury doesn't so much, but chronic. N'Kobe's chronic. Nolan is a little bit of a chronic injured guy. Those concern me. I don't hear that with Cam yet. So I don't know. I'm 50-50 on giving him an extension.
Yeah, but that back injury scares me. I'm not giving it to him right now. Let me see. Look, I'll give it to you. How about training camp? Let's talk at training camp. All right. How do you look in camp? How's the back? How's everything going? If he looks like the same guy in training camp, you're probably keeping him around and you're probably going to extend him. Now, the other thing I would wonder is, and I know everybody will probably call me crazy for this and I'll get some hate, but that's all right. I wonder if they look at him as expendable. Now, I'm not saying they don't like Cam Jurgens, but with the injury, with where they are on cap, with what we just talked about with prioritizing who they want to give cash deals to, with some of the other deals that are coming, hey, man, we got Keegan. Listen, hear me out, Sills.
I hear you.
We got Landon Dickerson, who's a phenomenal center.
I'm writing your stuff down. Go ahead.
Keegan, Steen, And now that dude yesterday, who, by the way, wasn't very good, but maybe he's a stalwart pride. You got a bunch of guards in the room. I don't know. Are they stocking up just for fun? Are they stocking up because they want insurance policies on these type of on a guy like Cam Jurgens? I'm not saying that they're going to do it, but I'm wondering if that's the line of thinking. If you are at a point where, hey, every dollar we spend's got to go to somebody that's foundational right now, and everywhere else we're going to fill in the cracks. We'll see what ends up happening.
Do you agree with me that if Tyler Steen can't beat Kenyon Green out,
we're in trouble.
that guy's a third-round bust because he couldn't beat Becton out. You bring this kid in, and I get the competition angle here, but if Tyler Steen can't beat that guy out, that's not a foundation piece that I'm moving forward with.
It's probably true. It's probably true. I mean, and they would probably consider moving them, trading them. And the thing with the offensive lines is that the Eagles do seem to get, like, remember, we signed Mekhi Becton after the draft last year, like a day after the draft. It was one of those deals that it was almost not really talked about because it was in with like the undrafted free agents in a futures contract. We were like, oh, we drafted Quinyon and Cooper. Oh, and the second note of the story was, hey, we added Mekhi Becton late in the draft process. So this isn't, they can get offensive linemen. The time for that is not over right now. I would imagine they're probably going to extend Cam Jurgens, honestly, but I don't think it's going to come right now.
How about this? I tweeted this out, put this on my X account. By the way, at Dan Sileo Show, for all you want to follow along when I'm not
and
on
Grill
the air.
Xander for your boy Big Z. My Twitter's been blowing up. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
I said the one thing that makes Howie and what he's doing great is his discipline. And they're going to run it back, Xander, with philosophy. They're not running it back maybe with the same names on the back of the jersey. This is why I always tell fans, don't fall in love with the name on the back of the jersey. It's a chess piece. They're rolling it back on philosophy. They believe because of their player development, evaluation, coaching, all of that, they believe in the process that they have. You know the process that you don't have with the Sixers? You have it with the Eagles. Because this is what they're running back. They believe they can find another Zach Bond, maybe at edge. They believe they can find another safety out there. They believe that they can play or develop Sidney Brown. They believe they're going to develop Keely Ringo into something. And to their track record, I could sit here and talk about all the process bullshit. But at the end of the day, 8 years, 2 Super Bowl wins, 3 appearances, last 4 years, going into 5 years, got the best win percentage of any team in the league. So if you take a step back, and I'm not saying you're not going to be competitive for a Super Bowl this year, to take 3 steps forward for the next 5 years, I don't see him doing anything wrong.
I don't either. And look, I mean, if you look at the history of the team, this is ultimately what's best. You look back on the 17 Super Bowl, and I know that was a bit ago. It was a different regime. But one of the things we tried to do there was we paid some older guys and said, let's keep this window open. You won 1 playoff game in 18, and then you went, 9-7, and then 4-10. You watched your team slowly get worse each year coming off of that. You go to 22 even, right? And then you get rid of a few guys, but you bring a couple of people back from that team. Ultimately, not the right moves. I think that was more coaching than anything player here, but I think they're trying to get younger. They're keeping young guys on the roster. And the other thing is, we're a $200 million offense, guys. I know you love it. I know you love AJ. You love Devontae. You love Saquon. You love the O-line. You love Hurts. That's great. I do too. But with that territory comes the Eagles have to keep young defensive players on rookie contracts. And the minute they get out of that rookie contract,
absolutely,
i.e. Milton Williams, you're gone. Unless you're a superstar, you're gone. And that's what it's going to be. And they're going to continue to do it that way. And by the way, I don't know if they're wrong. I know not every fan likes it because you're watching the Super Bowl team, go away, but I don't know if they're wrong. Honestly, you look at this.
You know how much I want to say they're wrong, but then I turn around and look at results. Come on, man. I mean, fuck it. I can't.
True.
You can't bang on the results, dude. You know what a lot of people like me were doing? Banging on the process. You can't bang on the process when the results are not adding up to what you're complaining about. It's just not adding up.
Right.
You're too good of an organization to have that many wins. And remember something, folks will go like this. Sills, that's not what you were saying last year. Yeah, because I didn't believe you're going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you
right.
stamped it. And when you
I always laugh at that. I had one dude commenting to me, and they're like, Silio's changed his tune. I'm like, yeah, dickhead, the fucking team won the Super Bowl.
What do you want me to do?
What do you want? Like, yeah, exactly. You want him to sit there and say
you want me
the
to
same
sit there
shit?
and continue a bad take? Hey, I'm not looking for 2024 being as bad as last year. How you doing?
I don't really look at it as that your takes were that bad. They didn't win the Super Bowl, and you had a Super Bowl mentality. They did it, and now you've given them the kudos that they've earned. So I don't know. I mean, some of your predictions were bad, but I don't think any of your takes were bad. I think everything was through the lens of going for greatness. But yeah, anyway, you got to get better. You got to get younger. You got to stay young. And you're right. The results speak for themselves. But here's the thing. You can acknowledge, here's what we can all acknowledge. And I think you're acknowledging it as well. The Eagles are maybe making the right move where they're going to take a step back with the potential for 3 steps forward. Yes. Here's what we can also acknowledge at the same time. They're playing a more risky game right now.
Yes.
Where you're getting rid of guys that are proven and you're trying to repeat as champions with draft picks and with some other things, some other unknowns. All right. So we got to see what they do. There's some unknown in the air, but
Xander, let me ask you this. So when you and your pop pay me and invest in me, are you looking 3 years from now being a core guy for you, trying to bring and make sure that everything? But is it a risk for
myself to these owners?
Wait a minute. Is it a risk for you? It is.
It's everything's
but
a risk.
You're trusting the risk. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I get it.
They believe in who they hired.
Sills is arguably a bigger risk than most would take. No, I'm kidding. Sileo would break the threshold on most.
He thinks I'm a fucking attorney here. He thinks I'm trying to put him down here.
Yeah, so Sileo, see, most business is like a barometer for risk they're willing to take. Sileo would smash that on most of them.
That's fucking hilarious. All right. Hey, are you laughing right now on how the Boston media is trying to fucking will this AJ? I'm not, bro.
Dude, a 4 in Gonza. That's anybody would take that deal. They were not even trading. You'd be lucky to get a 1st-round pick for AJ Brown.
And the 4th pick on top of that.
Yeah, you'd be lucky to get one number 1 pick that would be in the top 25. Dude, you don't trade 1st-round picks on top of a mega deal for a wide receiver. You're going to trade a number 4 overall pick for a wide receiver making $30 million a year? I mean, that doesn't happen.
Didn't Tyreek Hill get 2 ones? Didn't Miami have to give 2 ones to Kansas City?
Is that what they gave up for him? That is insanity.
But
remember, he was on an expiring deal. So you gave him a new contract coming in. That's a little different. That's like us giving up a 1 for AJ.
I'm trying to think of any receiver.
I don't think he got 2 ones.
Can you think anybody? I think it was 2 ones. I think
it was Miami trade for Tyreek Hill. I'll tell you in a second. Oh my God. 5 draft picks?
Yeah. It was a bounty.
No, it was not a 1, a 2, 2 4s, and a 6.
That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of picks.
That's fucking insane. I would never trade that for Tyreek Hill. No wonder Andy Reid took that deal.
Oh,
a 1, a 2. And by the way, he used the number 1 pick on Trent McDuffie. They used 54 on Sky Moore. That wasn't good. And then the 5th rounder on Darian Kennard. If we're in Philly, you know Darian Kennard. He's on our practice squad. Yeah. They didn't do the best with the picks, but yeah, I don't think AJ's getting that much. I'll tell you that.
No.
I mean, that was the number 22 pick they got. So
now remember something on that money, Xander. I see you you can defer that money out each year like they did on the Alshon Jeffries deal. So it's not a 1-year bang.
Yeah, I get it.
Unless you want it to be like, what's his name? Matt Ryan had a 1-year bang. And so the Eagles could have deferred that Carson Wentz $33 million. They ate $33 million. When they traded him to Indianapolis, they ate $33 million on that.
No,
remember they had that dead money. They had that dead money on there for Wentz, but you know what the contingency was? Look at the picks that they got for the Wentz deal. Look who's on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
the
of the
difference is
Wentz
drafting.
deal.
Well, let me go back to my point because I did want to elaborate on that one thing I said where we're playing a riskier game right now. Like we can acknowledge this is the right move, but we can also acknowledge as fans that there's risk in what they're doing. But I will say, let's say it starts at 50-50. You take a GM with a shitty resume, it might lower it below 50. You take a GM with a great resume, you raise it a little bit above 50. All right. With Howie Roseman, 17 of our last 18 picks in the first 4 rounds have been key contributors at one point in their rookie contract. 17 of the last 18 for the Birds. And the 18th, by the way, the guy who didn't was Zach McPherson. And for those who remember, he was a great special teams player. They didn't really want to move off of him, and he played a lot in his rookie season. So you have 20 picks in the next 2 drafts right now. You got 13 of them in the top 4 rounds. You're relying on Howie and the team drafting the right guys again. All right. I think they're going to do it. Their track record is pretty good right now. They're drafting very well, but they got to continue to hit.
I think it's unusual too, actually, but things always seemingly play itself out here.
What do you mean unusual?
Well, I think teams usually it's 50-50. You hit on a guy, you miss on a guy. You hit on a guy. You don't hit on 2 corners, dude. Name me a team that's ever hit on 2 corners. I can't remember one. I mean, it fucking doesn't happen. By the way, you know what we need here, JAKIB? We need a countdown clock. 8 minutes.
8 minutes
to 4 o'clock.
You think we're going to get some breaking news on our segment?
Oh, I do. Oh, I do. Oh,
right, well,
yes.
Let me make sure I'm loaded up. I got the feed loaded up, so I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to break news in real time for those listening to the National Football Show, and we will see what happens.
Absolutely. I think Goddard. See, I think the big news is Goddard's going to be moved, either traded or cut.
I think cut.
How do you feel about that? By the way, I've been calling that for 3 weeks.
I feel like I don't like it at all. I mean, I understand it, but that doesn't mean I like it because I don't look. Here's the thing: you don't have to believe in the contingencies behind the players that we've lost. You don't have to believe in Moro Ujoma. We've at least seen something. You don't have to believe in Sidney Brown. You don't have to believe in Keely Ringo, but at least they're in the room.
Yes. Yes.
With Dallas Goedert, there's nobody in the room. Grant Calcaterra, and please, for the love, save your comments, save your Twitter fingers, and keep it away. Grant Calcaterra stinks. He's not your number 1 tight end ever. He shouldn't be ever. And if he is, we got problems.
He doesn't.
What's your contingency?
He ain't a number 1. You're right.
No, I'm not a Calcaterra fan.
Yeah, no. All right. Do you have a problem with this when I throw this up at you? Milton Williams is 25 years old. Sweat's 27. Gardner-Johnson's 27. There is no question they do not value defense. They value that's right. They value their process and retooling more than they value the players because this is not Khalil Mack shit here. These guys are just climbing into their prime. I'm not calling these. Look, on a scale of 1 to 10 defensive tackles in the NFL, and I happen to keep an eyeball on that very, very, very big because of my position that I played. Where do I put Milton Williams in the pantheon of the NFL DTs? He's better than the guy in Tennessee? Absolutely not. Is he better than the nose up in New York? Absolutely not. Is he better than Chris Jones? Absolutely not. Is he in the top 5? Absolutely not. Is he in the top 10? I don't know, 12, 11. Am I paying top end dollar? Am I paying $26 million, the richest contract in Patriots history, for the 11th best DT? That's a no.
You think Milton Williams is the 11th best DT in the NFL?
I do. By the way, after 5, I think it's a collection of 6 through 11 that they're all in the room. You could pick one of the chips out of the hat and go, okay, I'll take him. You take him. I mean, do you really look at him as being a top 10 tackle?
No. This is why what they did makes sense. They got max value out of a 3rd-round draft pick who contributed on your Super Bowl defense. And the minute he got $26 million, the Eagles said, thank you for your services. I'll catch you later. And he left. And that's what they're going to stick to. That's what you're seeing right now on defense. And that's why I said those picks coming up in the next couple of drafts are so important, because you got to get guys that can play. And they've hit on rookies so far. So, I mean, or on draft picks recently. So we got good odds, you know?
No, absolutely. And here's what I would say too. The guy Sweat, well, 27. That's not a good look for a guy who plays north of 600 snaps a year, got you 40 sacks in 5 years. Boy, and you developed a 4th rounder. I mean, you know what I really don't like about those 2 moves? Bro, you did it right. You drafted a 3rd rounder and a 4th rounder and turned them into billionaires. I mean, I don't like letting that walk out of my room. But they just don't value defense. They look at defense, like I said, it's a luxury kind of option. And they go like this. Hey, guess what? We are going to roll it back. But Vic's going to go find us some guys. I'm going to sign off on them. And this is how we're going to do it. And like you said, that's why you get the swing sometimes, Xander. Hit and miss. Your swings are here's your swings. Devin White, Zach Bond. You can't have any more of a definition of your hit and misses than Bryce Huff, Hassan Reddick. That's your swings and misses. That's how you operate. Well, there's nothing in the middle.
Here's the crazy thing is that's how good the roster was last year, that you could miss on your top free agents so bad that you scratched them in the Super Bowl and you still had a dominant defensive performance. So Howie deserves a little bit of a hat tip for that. And, you know, the thing you're talking about with defense is great. And I will give credit to somebody who I heard talking about this, and he's really the best guy over on WIP on the radio. And I don't like much of what they do over there, to be blunt with you. But Hugh Douglas, I'm a big fan of, and I think he really explains it well. And he coined a phrase. I think he coined it. I don't know. And he says it all the time, and he's spot on. Offense is a necessity. Defense is a luxury. And that's why you see everybody on offense with a fat bag of money and a paycheck and a contract, and everybody on defense gets shown the door unless you're Jalen Carter, right? Or unless you play first-team All-Pro Zach Bond. So unless you're that good, you're irreplaceable. That's how they view the defense. And, you know, their philosophy has worked to this point. And now they got the coordinator. It seems to be able to make something out of nothing. So that's what they're going to stick to for sure.
2 minutes away.
I'm watching. I got my eye here. Don't worry. I got my eyes on the tabs over here.
How about this, Ander? This is what I was told from our friend, that Vic Fangio was asked by Howie Roseman what he thought about CJ moving forward. And hear me paraphrasing here. I don't have a problem with you moving on from him. I wrote it down. I don't have a problem from you moving on from him. He's a playmaking player. However, he will break scheme and structure. And he was out of position many times. You can get a lesser player to stay in structure more. You may not find the same ball hawking skills, playmaking skills, but you'll have a better structure in your scheme. That was good enough for Howie Roseman, plus the other shit, for him to say, I'm going to save $8 million.
Yeah, no doubt. I think honestly, I think this is what it was. I didn't get any inside info. This is me speculating. I think Jeffrey Lurie said, 8.5 million out of the till on him. Nah. If you don't think he's going to be someone that's going to be here for the next 3 years, get rid of him. Go cheaper. I wouldn't surprise me at all if Jeffrey Lurie said that.
Okay, so it is going around in New England right now.
No, stop. I'm not doing that. I'm not entertaining bullshit, all right? If you want to talk to me about a 2nd and a 5th for AJ and you think the Eagles are entertaining it, I'll tell you they're not.
I'm not trading that guy for a 2 and a 5.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
But the Patriots aren't saying, hey, here's 4 overall and Christian Gonzalez. No.
What if they gave you the 4th pick?
I'd probably take it.
Didn't he get Abdul Carter?
On
a rookie deal. Here's your D-line. Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Jomo, and Abdul Carter. all on rookie deals.
I don't want Hunter. I wouldn't trade the 4 for Hunter. I'd go Carter, I think, with Sills.
Oh, I'm not taking Hunter. Any one of those Colorado guys.
Do you think Hunter
opinion,
Hunter is bust alert or bust potential?
Oh, I think he's either a grand slam or
a bust.
Absolute disaster.
Yes. I'm exactly with you. He's either gonna change the NFL his rookie year, or he's gonna stink.
And I'm 50-50 on that right now. I love his story.
All right, the new year. Listen, the new league year is kicked off. Happy NFL New Year, everybody.
Okay, hey, get
Russell
ready.
Wilson visiting with the Browns came out 46 seconds ago.
Hey, anytime you want to know a shitty team, look what the Browns do. How you doing?
Happy NFL New Year, John tweets out. That's classic. Happy NFL New Year. What will happen with Dallas Goedert? Here we go.
That's the biggest news right now for Philadelphia.
If you were Roseman, what would you do with Goddard?
I'd ask him to take a pay cut. And I'd give you a bag of money. Here,
You would Josh sweat him?
Yeah. And I'll say this to you. You know why? We love you, though. Here's more money up front, but I want your base down. And we could try to make it work. Now, if they're looking to keep cash, that's not going to work. But I don't believe the Eagles are in any position. I think they're just being smart and disciplined. I don't think it's Xander. The word cheap and the word fucking frugal, it should be replaced by disciplined. They're disciplined.
They're very disciplined, and they're not cheap. Come on. I mean, look,
I don't believe that.
You can call this team a lot of things. They're not cheap, dude. No,
okay.
They spend bags of money on players. They're cheap on defense. I guess it would be fair if you said defense, but no, they're not cheap. Look, Jeffrey Lurie shelled out more cash than any other NFL owner in the last 10 years. Any other NFL owner. Nobody has spent more cash. Cash money, baby. Straight cash, homie. Ask Sileo about straight cash. He only accepts straight cash.
See, I brought something up. He brought something up. You see how that's working, folks?
You see that is right.
I think they cut him.
I'm got my eye on the league right now.
I think they cut Goddard. I
do too, because nobody's trading for him. What are you giving up for Goddard? A 6?
Yeah. Okay. Since you said that, I've got
Cowboys just signed Jack Sanborn.
Who?
I'm with Pumper. Who the fuck is Jack Sanborn?
Let me guess. He's a punter.
No. He's a linebacker.
I got it.
Reunited with Eberflus.
Wow, that ought to close the gap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, listen, we said the same thing about Bond last. You joked about Bond last year.
I did.
Everybody did. I'm not picking on it. Everybody did.
I called him Orenthal after OJ.
Orenthal. Wait, I think his name actually is Orenthal, right?
It is Orenthal.
Yeah,
listen. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now, again, I'm going to keep asking you this. The 32nd pick, as of right now, I'm going edge. The 64th pick, I'm going tight end. The 97th pick, I'm going DT. The 134th pick, 4th round, I'm going OT. The 161st pick from Houston, 5th rounder, I'm going running back. The 164th pick, Detroit, I believe that's through another team. I can't remember. I'm going safety. And the 165th pick from Washington, I'm going linebacker. In the 168th pick, I'm doing DT again.
Eagles re-signed Ben Van Sumeren, baby.
Holy cow! Ben Van McMullen.
Ben Van Sumeren is back, baby.
Ben Van McMullen is back.
Let's go, Ben. I love Ben Van Sumeren, baby. What a name. What a player.
Oh my God! There's your orange perks for 2024, folks. Right there. That's
Ben
your orange perks.
Van Sumeren returns.
Holy
Anybody who
shit.
wanted Kyle Juice check, goodbye, Kyle. Nobody
Van
wanted Kyle
Sumeren
Juice.
season, baby.
Dude, you're sleeping on the greatness of BVS. Wait. Put some respect on his name. That's Super Bowl champion BVS to you, Big Sills.
Ben Van Sumeren, John McMullen's lost child.
Ben Van Sumeren season, baby.
Holy shit. Hey, didn't put any money out there on him yet?
You didn't put any money on it yet. All right. But everybody's reporting it. I love it. 1-year deal, the return to the Eagles.
The return of Ben Van Sumeren.
Yes, Emrace. Ring holder BVS, baby. Woo!
Oh my God. Did you like what I just I think the top.
The only thing I'm wondering is, Sills, because this defensive line is so deep in the draft, I'm wondering if you go 3 straight defensive linemen in them top 3 picks. I know you need a tight end, so they'll probably do that, but I got to maximize my value on that defensive line. You lost Milton, you lost Sweat, and you're probably losing Brandon Graham. And I just wonder if they'll dump extra assets into there. Or hear me out. Ready? Trade back to 1, grab an extra second or third rounder. All right. Go defensive end, defensive tackle, tight end, defensive end again. That I could see.
I love trading out of that 32nd pick.
I think they're going to.
I do. And creating more draft picks here. By the way,
he was an exclusive rights free agent, by the way, Ben.
Oh. The Eagles are scheduled to have 20 draft picks.
Yeah.
And the next 2 drafts of those 11 are in the first 4 rounds. That's pretty rich. Okay? 11 picks you're going to have over the next 2 years and the next top 4 rounds.
I think it's 13 in the top 4, right?
Oh, it's 13 in the top 4? Okay, I'm reading 11 here, but okay.
Okay, it might be 11 then. You might be right. I thought I heard Schefter on a podcast say it was 13, but 11 is fine. Either way, you got a lot of picks in the top 4 rounds. Yeah, it's 11. You're right, 11.
What do you make of Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen in Minnesota playing defensive tackle?
Who's their quarterback?
JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, I don't care. They're on the island of nothingness until that kid proves he can play in the NFL, because I watched him play in college. He didn't even do anything in college. He won a national championship and didn't even do anything. He just handed the ball off, man.
I watched him play against Penn State. He didn't throw a ball in the entire second half. He only had 350 attempts his last year at Michigan.
I can't stop. Although here's the thing. If they did have a quarterback, I would like what the Vikings are doing. They've done a good job on the offensive line, the defensive line. They're building up the trenches right now, and they got good skill position players. So they actually have a solid unit over there.
Addison and Jefferson, would you put Aaron Rodgers in there?
Ooh, think they would do that? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit ago, because that's what Brett Favre did. Same path. Stop at the Jets and then go to the Vikings.
They went to the NFC title game with him there.
Well, they would probably be pretty good.
And they re-signed Aaron Jones.
Oh, Shady, you reminded me. Shady dropped a great – let me find it. Shady, appreciate you, brother. He dropped a great comment on your show yesterday, because he watches after the fact a lot of times. And I commented back, this is a perfect comment. I got to read this to Sills tomorrow. Let me see if I can find it.
We're going to read all your supers. Guys, please hit the like button here. We're waiting to see the news on Goddard here, man. Yeah, I think that's going to be edge, tight end, DT, top 3 picks.
All right, you ready for these 2 comments?
Yeah.
I loved it. Hear me out first. He comments, Big Sills got emotionally attached to our defense last year. And then he commented again, they proved him wrong, and he likes that. And I'm like, I think he's right. You were emotional yesterday. You were upset that Howie Roseman took a blowtorch to the defense that shut your ass up. And as a defensive guy, I think he's right. I think they won you over.
He did. That team, that unit did. And to blow it up like that was criminal.
You understand why. We all understand why. But you could do.
Jesus Christ, man. Remember, like I said, the Bulls never were defeated on the court. That defense will forever live in infamy.
Jerry Krause, right? Jerry Krause.
Hey, that defense will ever live in infamy that nobody could believe. Nobody could
believe that guy dishonored my name that way.
He thought he was. Well, here's what he did. He thought he was going to replace Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and what have the Bulls done since?
He's still got a pretty good resume, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, because he found Tony Kukoc and he found Pippen, and he got a trade for Rodman. And they hired Phil Jackson and replaced Doug Collins. They did all the right things. But the centerpiece was Michael Jordan. You're replacing fucking Michael Jordan with who? Derrick Rose?
I love Michael Jordan.
I mean, Derrick Rose was an MVP and a good player, but who are we talking about here?
Grade the signing of Ben Van Sumeren into a 1-year deal.
The greatness of Ben Van Sumeren, McMullen's favorite Eagle.
Yes, he is. John loves Ben Van Sumeren. I can't wait to talk to John about him tomorrow. I'm going to say, I might call him Ben Van McMullen. Is that what you called him? Ben Van. John will not like that one, but I'll still do it.
Ben Van McMullen. Every time I turn your show on, they love Ben Van. By the way, it proves that they do. And I would think that Vic, too, loves the guy here. I do, man. I think that's for sure.
I think you're right about what you put out about Vic being on CJ, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't have inside info, but I look at Vic. I listen to his press conferences. I see the way he acts, the way he talks, the way he thinks. And then I look at CJ Gardner-Johnson and I'm like, yeah, those two are like oil and water, man. They're like oil and water. Yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah, that ain't working. And I personally think probably that you're right on that. They probably looked at CJ. Would you not agree? They probably looked at Gardner-Johnson as a loose cannon.
Yeah. Well, he was. And he also freelanced in that defense a little bit too much probably for Vic's liking. Absolutely. And if you go back and watch our defense, there was a couple moments this year where when we did have issues, it's because CJ Gardner-Johnson was out of position in coverage. It happened a lot. It happened a lot. So
that was a major problem. So to your point, what that one guy said, yeah, man, I was very disappointed that they ripped that thing apart because very seldom do you get chemistry. Player. The thing was, by the way, they played their best games in the NFC title and in the Super Bowl. They were getting still better. Can you imagine if you kept that defense intact, how good they'd be this year? You'd be a generational defense.
That's a perfect world, man. That's a perfect world. We don't live in fairy tale land, Sills. All of a sudden, you live in fairy tale. Eagles win the Super Bowl, and now you're in fairy tale land. If they returned, they might not have been the same defense. They might have been worse with all the same dudes.
Wasn't that offense that led you to the Super Bowl? Was that defense?
What do you mean they had 105 points in the playoffs?
Okay, you're right. Your football team was led by your offense last year.
I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I said they weren't the caboose. They weren't the caboose.
Oh my God, the guy. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot the greatness of wait, what about how everyone's looking at your boy now?
145 postseason points. 145.
Jalen Hurts should not be given a contract as rich as Josh Allen.
Fuck that. That was a shit comment. Who made that comment? Who was that? Jason Cole?
No, that was Howie. That was Howie.
Eskin. It was Eskin. That's right.
Howard said that.
That's all right.
No, he's not better than Allen. I was like, I'll tell you what I do believe, though. You know what I'm starting to believe? Hey, man, who took him over Lamar? He goes, yeah, no, I'll take him over Lamar. Let's read these supers, dude.
That was Howard Balzer yesterday. He was good. I got to post that interview out.
Hey, Howard said that, oh, yeah, he's way better than Lamar. I was like, what? That's the first guy I heard say that.
Yeah, you couldn't believe it. It was clear that Balzer had
I go, Howard, you would take Jalen over He goes, yeah, I would. Why not? I don't. And by the way, remember what he said? I don't get what the conversation is about him. He goes, I don't get the conversation about Jalen Hurts. I'm not getting it. All that guy does is go out there and do what he's asked to do, and he does it.
I'm going to put a picture on the screen, and it's going to be the reason that we go back and win a Super Bowl again, all right?
Are you predicting Super Bowl this year?
I'm going Super Bowl or bust, bitch. Look at this. He's back, baby. The kid is back. Ben Van McMullen is back. And look it. We're in good shape now that he's under contract. I do like Ben Van Sumeren, actually.
You think you're in good shape right now?
I think you're in okay shape. I mean, you got look, we could just talk about it. We got to recoup, but I think you still have let me be candid. I like the guys that we did lose some good players on defense. There's no doubt. But part of the reason when you have a stacked roster is when you lose anybody, they're good. They're not stiffs. Like that's part of being a good deep team, right? Milton Williams is not the reason we were the number 1 overall defense last year. Josh Sweat was not the reason. He had a mediocre regular season. He had like 8 sacks, and he fell off toward the end a little bit until the postseason run. So
the collective group
Gardner-Johnson was good. I'd put him at 8th or 9th on the power rankings of most important defenders last year. So you have the top 6 guys all coming back, in my opinion.
I have a different look at that than you. You're looking at individuals. I'm looking at the collective group you lost.
I agree. Well, that I agree with you.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, don't you agree that this is a tougher group than you lost in the Marcus? Here, let me read you this before we get to the supers here. I want to show you something. Tell me what you think of this. Here's the players that you have lost since the 2022 Super Bowl. Hassan Reddick, Javon Hargrave, TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, Marcus Epps, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Slay, and CJ Gardner. All these guys are on defense.
Yeah, everyone. And Goddard's coming up probably. And Becton's probably coming up too.
Every one of those guys were instrumental in helping you get to the Super Bowl. And you let them walk out the building. And get this. Watch this.
Yeah, but don't you have to have some turnover?
Yes. No. I'm not. Here, watch. Hargrave, $20 million annually. TJ Edwards, $9 million a year, $8 million a year. Kaiser White, $7 million a year. Marcus Epps signed a great contract with the Raiders. Milton Williams, $26 million a year. Josh Sweat, $19 million. Slay, old. CJ.
All those guys you mentioned from 22. Why have I never heard their name again since they've left Philly? Because you went to the shitty ass team. Now you can take the money, but I don't want to hear shit about you being a winning football player in the future. Is Marcus Epps still in the freaking league?
I haven't heard from him. He's like missing out. He's like, you need an SOS to find his ass right now.
I mean, good night.
Yeah, I don't even know where the hell that guy is.
Same with Sweat and Milton. You'll never hear their names again.
Let's read these super chats. You might be right though, because I don't look.
I'm not knocking them. They're entitled to take the money, but when you leave the championship city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, but wait. But the difference is this time those guys got rings.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. They got the ring, and now they want to get paid. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying we ain't going to hear
what I said, Xander?
Hope you enjoyed your moment in the spotlight.
Hey, Xander, hear what I said?
What?
Hey, they got their Super Bowl ring. Now they want to get paid. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, read the supers.
I hear you. Brian Pumper says, you think that the post-Super Bowl rant by Fangio being outed got CJ booted? Pretty sure CJ chimed in on Twitter. Jay looks a young guy, so he got a pass.
I don't think that helped, Pump. I don't think that helped his stay in Philly. I think what Xander says is right. I think him out of position, him chirping like this, and all that bullshit, and the $8 million, I think the owner went, I can live without that guy. As a matter of fact, I want to live without that guy because they got no money savings. And if you're really after potentially Justin Simmons for the same money and making a lateral move, you hate the fucking guy. That's what the deal is. I mean, I think this was an attitude and a money deal. And they didn't feel like wanting to pay him. And the guy has been so productive for you, but it's a shitty way to get rid of a guy.
I
Hey,
wonder if this team's going to ask Jalen Hurts to take a pay cut in the future.
no way.
Not a pay cut, but a new deal that doesn't make you top of the market.
No fucking way. You think Clutch Sports is going to roll in there and go, hey, we love you, man.
That. I said, there's only one other guy that has won Super Bowls at an unprecedented level. And what did he do? He took pay cuts every year especially after he got his first deal. Let's all be candid here. Jalen Hurts is taken care of in a large way, and the Eagles did that. By the way, they did that early. They could have waited on him on that contract. Many people thought we paid him too early.
Brady called it this. He believed that he was reinvesting in his offense.
Exactly.
So that he could maintain this level of success. Remember, Xander, he didn't make really huge money.
His wife was like a billionaire or whatever she was.
Hey, he didn't make money until he got to Tampa.
Actually, riding the bench might have just made a point that he wasn't even trying to make.
I know.
And then the bitch left him for a Brazilian jiu-jitsu trainer who had a baby with her. That's all the reason to take the money, baby.
Hey,
because in the end, they'll all leave you.
Hey, riding the bench, she made $65 million.
Yeah, then she bailed on him for a jiu-jitsu coach.
Here's a note to all you young dudes out there. Don't ever let a gym guy take your wife 5 times a week.
Yeah,
run her around.
Can we talk about that for a second? I don't know if this is cancelable territory, but what man is letting their wife, the mother of their children, go and roll around a mat half naked with a jiu-jitsu coach? Are you out of your mind?
5 times a week.
You got to be kidding me.
No shit. I'm with you, man. I don't get it.
I mean, holy mackerel.
These guys are doing the four-legged leg cross together out there on the mat. And I'm like,
you ain't catching me doing that, Sileo. No way.
No way.
Are you kidding me?
Not happening. Not happening.
M. Reyes is good. M. Reyes is saying,
you know tonight?
I just signed my wife up, M. Reyes is saying.
No.
M. Reyes, I just took a shot at you, and I told you I wasn't going to take a shot at you all summer. I take it back, M. Reyes. I'm sorry.
He's too easy.
He throttled Sileo, and I have to give you credit for that.
Yeah. Okay. He's the only guy that showed up that day. That's why. So wait, hey, Goddard's. But then again, Goddard's still under contract. It's not like he's a free agent right now. He's under contract, so they got time to deal.
New deal.
What?
He's gonna want a new deal.
He ain't getting it in Philly.
Pay cut. Oh, good. The Broncos got Evan Ingram. That's lovely because I'm happy I don't have to hear about him anymore.
Evan Ingram, where was he? Let me guess, Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, he stunk. Look at Barb. Xander taking cheap shots at a 7-time Super Bowl QB. I didn't take cheap shots at Brady. I took cheap shots at any man who would choose to let their wife roll around with another man half naked.
Hey, Barb.
5 times a week. Ever.
Hey, Barb, just because he can throw an out pass, don't mean he knows how to handle a chick.
Yes, so true. So true.
Come on, Barb. You know better than that. You know how to.
Maybe she doesn't know better than that.
You know how to sauce a guy up. Oh my God, you're wonderful. And before you know it, you're married a year. Then you get a funny little package at your front door, and it said, "Hey, here's your papers."
Peter Riley. Look, Barb says Brady is okay, Barb. You can be confident in yourself until your wife has another kid with another man. I mean, come on, Barb.
And then guess what else, Barb? When he has a roast, he's moaning. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for
really.
You.
Barb, agree to disagree. I don't think it has anything to do with confidence.
Hey, Barb, Brady's the ultimate Super Bowl champion, and he's the ultimate loser dude in relationships.
Yeah, hate to see it.
Both can be true.
Yeah. Peter Riley says, big Sill season. I love it. CZ says, Van Sumer and Elite. I'm waiting for another. Wait, they can't fool us this much. Like, they can't only do Ben Van Sumeren today, can they?
Yeah.
Christopher Michael. What's up, Christopher? He goes, hey, guys, what do you think of Ringo at safety? He's got the size and can thump. I don't see him as an outside corner. He couldn't beat Rodgers out. It's actually not a bad take, but I don't think they're going to move him to safety.
Really heated in New England right now for A.J. Brown.
They're not getting A.J. Brown.
It's the big conversation on the Sports Hub and EEI right now. that A.J. Brown's being traded to the Patriots.
It's not happening.
Just saying.
I will say it's not happening until it happens. If it
Me
happens,
too. I don't believe that.
I'll see what we get back. I'll
You think
reserve
they
my
trade him?
judgment.
You think they trade him? If they do, you think they trade him next year?
I think it's more possible next year because that's when you're starting to pay those defensive guys, you know.
Do you think they move him when they have to give that guy that $40 million extension?
Maybe. Yo, Leon, patience, dude. Good Lord. Leon's the most impatient guy I've ever met. Can you answer, Christopher? He asked you about moving Ringo to safety and you blew him off.
Ringo to safety. The thing that I do like about the kid, he's 22 years old, dude. He's very athletic. He played at Georgia. He played in that system with all those guys. You know what happened to Ringo? Ringo may be good 2 years from now. Will they have the patience to keep him and develop him and give him playing? You know what I wanted? You know what I would do, Xander, this coming off season and playing in the exhibition games? I would play him a ton. Get him as many reps as I can to get a sense of what he is. Do you agree with me? I don't know what he is yet. I just don't know who he is. I mean,
no, I'm with you.
I see athleticism, but I don't see him playing the position. So I don't know where he's at right now. I don't know his athleticism back there. He's kind of tight in the hips. I don't really see him as a corner.
Here's what we do know, though. He didn't beat out Rodgers.
Right. Rodgers a better athlete. I hate that move that they let Burks and Rodgers go. I hate that.
Nah, I'm not sweating over that.
But
James
you know
Williams.
why? It was cheap and they were flexible.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. James Williams says, yeah, but those aren't, you can replace those guys. James Williams says, if Brown was traded to the Pats, what would that deal have to look like for you to pull the trigger, and how would you fill out the safety position? James Williams, that deal would I think what we're speculating right now is way off.
We are. That deal would have to here. Like I said, it's a true story that Elliott Wolf and Alonzo Highsmith have called Howie. Howie listens to everything, but to not waste Howie's time, you have to offer something exceptional. Unlike you guys who want to offer up Trevor Keegan and Bryce Huff for Myles Garrett. That's not going to happen, okay?
This is the Eagles' offseason so far.
That looks fantastic.
Re-signed Zach Bond, Ben Van Sumeren, leaving Milton, Isaiah, Josh, Oren, Kenny, and Slay. Traded Gardner and Pickett, acquired Kenyon and Dorian Thompson, extended Saquon Barkley, and released Slay and Bradbury. Out with the old and in with the new, baby.
Holy shit, that looks terrible.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
Who? Why? Give me one good reason.
Okay, I'll tell you. It's not the Super Bowl roster that you just had a month ago.
Okay, and when has it ever worked that people brought back their whole Super Bowl roster?
You asked me a question about how that looked. You didn't ask me about if it's right. I asked you how that looked. Okay, did you not?
I tried to get you. Well,
you tried to Sileo me.
I tried to Sileo you. I tried to move you off your spot. You know, you were on the block, and I tried to get you out. I tried to force you outside.
Holy shit! Like Hurts taking sacks.
Oh man! Now Russell Wilson is meeting with the Browns. Poor Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett. He got booted out of Pittsburgh for Russell Wilson, and then he goes to the Browns, and now Russell Wilson is meeting with the Browns. You got to be kidding me, man.
How would you like to be a quarterback in Cleveland, knowing that the guy who's not going to play this year has $45 million, and he's getting all that and guaranteed you're making $3 million to quarterback the fucking team?
He's not even going to show up at the Browns facility this year, that guy.
No.
He's really not. It's a joke. Yo, 500. That hat is fire. Let me get to these super chats and then we get to 500.
Yep.
James, do we get that? Oh, yeah. I don't know what the deal would look like for AJ, but I'm not doing it. Silo says, what's going on with these AJ trade rumors? I don't know. They're picking up.
Boston media.
Yeah. Leon says, thoughts on Duke tight end. All right, stop. No, you see what he did there? Don't let Leon. Yeah. Leon. What are you, 8 years old, Leon? I mean, come on. Brian Pumper, I'm getting more and more interested in the number 4 pick. If we get Travis Hunter, wide receiver 1 and cornerback 2 are covered, right? Brian, stop. They're not trading the number 4 overall pick for a $32 million wide receiver. That's not how the NFL works.
If you got that pick, would you trade down to get multiple first rounders, or would you take Abdul Carter?
I wouldn't do the deal.
Just spitballing.
I wouldn't do the deal.
So if you got Gonzalez and the 4th pick overall for AJ, you
You're
wouldn't
never
do that.
getting that.
I just
Why do you want me to live in fairy tale
I just
land?
said, well, wait a minute. They have to offer something to Howie. They're just not going to call him.
You're creating an alternate reality that's impossible, and then you're going to make me take a take, and then people are going to hold me to that take. No.
They have called 3 times. I know that for a fact. I asked Alonzo.
Yeah, well, they're calling. They ain't answering though.
No. You think
they knew CJ was away before they signed him.
Remember what Adam Peters said, the general manager from the Commanders? Jesus, criminy, this guy won't stop calling.
Good. All right, I got to go. You enjoy and have a good segment.
Hey, AJ for the 4th pick. Gonzo.
Wait, I've been very busy this week, so I haven't had a chance to watch the 500 channel, which I will be doing tonight. But is 500 going to make me feel better, or is he going to make me feel worse about our number 1 overall defense that's comparable to Gang Green has been blown up? I don't know what's going on, 500. I'm hoping you can give me some insight. All right. Thank you, guys. See you.
You got it, Xander. See you, man. Hey, by the way, Xander will keep you updated, too. By the way, I'm going to do this right before I get 500 on here. I got to grab something here. I got to show 500 here what I think about Howie and what he did to the number 1 overall defense. I'm going to light my blowtorch. Here we go. And then today, the freaking greatness of Ben Van Sumeren brought back to be in the mix, to be maybe the next Oren Burks. Without further ado, the legend himself, our friend, Philly 500, joins us now. How you
What
doing,
is happening?
baby? Wait a minute.
What's going down? Chinatown. What's happening?
How you doing, champ?
Champ is doing all right. Champ is hanging in there. You know, can't complain. Only a little bit, I guess. But I think the sky is not falling like you say. It is not that bad. A matter of fact, everything has gone according to plan except for one thing. There's one big problem I have with what has happened, and that's the CJ Gardner-Johnson trade. I don't understand it. Don't get it. I think that was one too many moves. But everything else, I didn't expect Josh Sweat back. I didn't expect Milton Williams back. And I knew these guys weren't coming back. So nothing's a surprise to me but that CJ Gardner-Johnson move. To me, that's one too many.
You agree, though, that 5 – by the way, let that cat roll up there if he wants to jump up there, man, because I got to show my dog, too, because my puppy barks like a crazy.
No, she thinks I'm talking to her. She thinks I'm talking to her because she sees me set up here.
I love that.
Yeah, you're good.
Hey, by the way, 5 starters gone, though, counting if you put BG in that conversation. I mean, that's not the number 1 defense coming back, 500.
Well, I mean, we knew this was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. And to be honest with you, I'm okay with certain things. Like, I think the emergence of Nolan Smith. I think the emergence of Jalen Hunt. I think these guys showed that they could play, and this was naturally going to happen. I thought Zach Bond coming back was the most important thing. As far as the cornerback spot, yeah, you could have brought Isaiah Rodgers back. That would have been fine if you want him to compete with Ringo. But the CJ one was the one that was, I don't understand that one. There has to be more than what we've heard, that it's just about cash. There's no way I believe that.
How about I heard that, according to some folks in the building there, that Christian Parker and him constantly would have to go back and forth. He was always chirping, and Howie went to him and asked him, hey, man, could we live without this? And supposedly Vic said, look, out of the scheme at times, he blows up the scheme. He's not in position at times. And for $8 million plus the chirping, I mean, I don't think that's a reason to move off a guy because let's take a look at this. 3 years in a row, he's played in the NFC title game. He's been to the Super Bowl 2 of those 3 years. He's won 1, and he had 12 picks in the 2 years he was an Eagle.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not getting that either because, and he's 27. We're not talking about a young guy here. I mean, of all those moves that they made, do you think he's going to be felt the most? Is it Milton? Is it Josh?
No, I mean, I think you could replace CJ Gardner-Johnson. It's not that you can't replace him. It's just that you created an extra spot, an extra hole where I don't think you need it. Like if you want to get rid of him because of money, they could have waited a year, right? I mean, and done it. So, I mean, you could replace him and you could fix it. As far as who is going to be irreplaceable, I don't know. I mean, I feel like these young guys need to play and they can play. I thought Ojomo played really good at the end of the year. I think he's got to develop just like Milton Williams did. I think we're in uncharted territory because the Eagles have had a stretch where they've had three good years of draft picks. And now you have all these contract extensions coming at the same time, and they're trying to put themselves in a position to get it. So I totally understand it. But, I don't know what's up with the CJ thing. And then the Dallas Goedert thing, that's another one. It's like, do we really need to trade Dallas Goedert right now? So, to me, there was no surprises at all until the CJ thing. That's thrown me off. But other than that, do I think that if you look at this division, do I think the Dallas Cowboys have improved enough to compete with us? No. Do I think Washington has overtaken us? No. They might have slowly closed the gap, but I don't think they've overtaken us. And I think that guys like Nolan Smith, Jalen Hurts are going to be good next year. So I think we'll be fine in the long run. But you've now created an issue where CJ Gardner-Johnson's got to replace. And I'm telling you right now, I want them to go out and get a safety in the first round. Like, go get the best safety and play them, right? What did we have success doing? We had success with young guys coming in and playing. Go get a rookie safety, play them, and let them learn. And then you can free up what you want to do with Reed Blankenship and stuff like that. Nothing is – the sky isn't falling like people want to claim, But I do think there's more to the CJ Gardner-Johnson thing than just money.
I said this earlier. Tell me if you agree or disagree on it. I think Howie's running it back. And I'd say they're running it back on philosophy, not the players' names on the back of the jersey. They believe they can find another guy to go out there and replace a linebacker like Oren Burks. They believe that they can find in a trade somebody that can replace Darius Slay. They believe that they can find an edge rusher to go out there and have a role like a Hassan Reddick. They believe they can find the depth like they did with Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh. It's more about philosophy, don't you agree? And also it's discipline in how they spend money and how they delegate money. That's why in the last 8 years, that's why they've been successful. But here's the one thing that somebody posted here, and I agree. The only downside to that is that I don't think you can build a dynasty of being a Super Bowl team every year when you're constantly having this right here. Look, Bryce Huff, Hassan Reddick, the swings are so big. You're either hit or miss on some of these. Like, look, Devin White, Zach Bond, these swings in the pendulum are just a little wide. Now, you may win 2 Super Bowls in the next 5 years. That's worth it, in my opinion, on how you're constructing and doing your business. Do you agree with that's kind of what they're doing?
Yeah, kind of. But I'll say this. If you continue to have good drafts, you won't need that pendulum to be swinging, right? The fact that they've drafted so well in the last 3-4 years, I think you're going to see less of that. You're not going to have to go make those big free agent signings as much because you're drafting so well. So as long as they continue to draft well, I think they'll be fine. I don't see any reason why I don't look at Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and say, well, he can't take another step in his progression next year and be what Oren Burks is. I mean, you've had so much success with playing your young guys, developing them. Why stop now? Keep it going. I have no problem with that at all.
To your point, you think Jordan Davis has been a good or bad draft pick?
I think Jordan Davis has been an okay draft pick, but I think Jordan Davis turned the corner in the playoffs. I think that NFC Championship game where he goes out and gets a sack. You look at his face on the sideline. He's headbutting guys without a helmet. All right. He was so pumped, but he looked like something clicked, like the monkey was off his back. And then he goes out in the Super Bowl and he has another great game. I think Jordan Davis, his best years are in front of him, man.
Pittsburgh Steelers, 1 year, $10 million for Darius Slay at 34. 1 year, $34 million.
Yeah.
That
1 year
is a lot of money for a 35-year-old. Wow.
You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of the 30-year-old 1 year deals. And every year it's like a rotation at a certain position because we're just trying to plug in a guy for 1 year. I like the young guys that come out and play, and they play on the rookie deal. So I appreciate what Darius Slay did, but I don't want him back for that much money.
Whoa. All right. I want to go down the list here with you. First pick, number 32. What are you doing there? Are you trading out? Up?
Oh, trading up.
As of right now, where are you going with that pick?
I'm either going two positions. I'm going edge rusher or safety. If I could choose position-wise, I'll go safety. Like I said, I would like to get a guy that could come in and just and play and start and just be that rookie under that rookie contract. If we're going to play these games with the safety position, that's another position where it's always rotational, right? You have CJ Gardner-Johnson, then you're trying to trade for Kevin Byard, then you bring CJ Gardner-Johnson. Now you're moving him again. Like, I'm sick of that. Let's go get a guy that can be in there and be in there for long term. So I'm going to say either safety or edge. And I'm trading up. I'm not sitting and I'm not trading back. I'm trading up. I got a ton of picks. I got a ton of picks over the next 2 years.
Yes, you got 11 in the top. You got 11 in the top 4 rounds in the next 2 years here. One thing on Slay before I move on here. The one thing with Slay, and the reason why I think that's a good fit is because they play that Tampa 2 defense. It's a pseudo version of the 2-eye safety. He's not a man cover corner in that defense. So he probably fits in better. That's why it was probably a good fit for them. I think the money's awful high, but then again, the cap. Pittsburgh doesn't really like to spend a ton of money. They've got money to spend. And $10 million, they probably structured it. And remember something, too. That's an agent throwing that out. So we got to remember what we're going to see what the real actual money is when it comes to the base salary.
And think about this. You got what? They're probably going to sign Rodgers, right? At some point,
yes,
it looks like they're going to get Aaron Rodgers, Pickens, and DK Metcalf, and then you're going to have all that chaos there, and you're going to have Darius Slay on his podcast telling us all the business of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So my thing with Slay is this: Slay wants to play one more year and retire. He wants to play one more year and retire. He said so. Okay, you got your ring. Now you're going to go do your farewell tour, play one more year, and then sayonara. Well, how hungry is he going to be for another championship? How important is that one more championship going to be to him? Or is he just going to try to enjoy his last year? So I think it's a good guy to turn over, to be honest.
I want to give you a chance to respond to this. And I'm not the messenger. Well, I am kind of, but I don't believe it. So reports are out of New England that the Patriots, and I do know this because I've talked to Alonzo Highsmith, who's in the front office with Elliott Wolf. They've contacted Howie Roseman numerous times. I heard 3. Some are saying even more times about the availability of A.J. Brown going up there with Drake May. Now, supposedly, there's rumors of the 4th pick, Gonzalez, other picks. The Boston media is trying to will this thing. Now, if you're hearing more, and by the way, I can't remember. I think it was Adam Schefter was on, either Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport was on Philly radio saying more cost cuttings coming from the Eagles. Is that where you go? You go to AJ because AJ is the guy he's not finishing his career in Philly. That guy is not finishing his career in Philadelphia.
Why? Why isn't he?
Because they just are not going to keep that salary, and he's not going. There's not a chance he'll retire in Philadelphia.
Well, whether he retires in Philly or not, he's signed for the next few years, and he's in the prime of his career. He's one of the best wide receivers. First of all, I can't see a team going out and spending the 4th overall pick on a wide receiver that is
you don't
making
think
that
he's
kind of
worth
salary.
that? I do.
I do. I don't think teams. I think teams tend to overvalue draft picks. They don't give 4th overall picks for players. When's the last time we've seen a top 5 pick go for a player? It doesn't happen. They're not going to give the 4th overall pick for a wide receiver.
I've never seen a $281 million salary cap either.
No, I haven't either. But I would be absolutely shocked if they did.
I think that's hyperbole conversation. I mean, look, do you think there's anybody in the draft that helps? This is what I would be thinking if I was Mike Vrabel and I was Elliott Wolf. Is there really anybody in the draft that's going to help Drake May in the next 3 years in this draft?
Well, Sills, it doesn't make sense. If you need a receiver so bad, you could have gotten DK Metcalf. Why not?
Or you could have signed Devontae Adams, who got cut by the
but now they're just pinpointing. See, they like AJ Brown because AJ Brown was a Patriot fan growing up, and he was with Vrabel. So they assume that he's going to be traded. I think the Eagles, if they did that, then you can kiss a repeat goodbye. How are you gonna replace him? That hurts your offense. No, I don't think that's remotely likely. I think that's all just talk.
I agree with you. I think that is a lot to do with people wanting to wanting. I think they want the player, but I think their eyes are a little bit bigger than what reality.
And it's not like he has a contract coming up, or he's in a contract spat, or you don't know what they're going to do, because he's going to be a free agent in a year. He just signed an extension. So to me, I don't see how it's even possible. But for the 4th overall pick, that's a lot. I'm not going to say it's not a lot, but
how about this?
I have a hard time believing it.
Let's spitball it here for a second. Say you do trade him up to get that 4th pick, and you get Abdul Carter in that. Now you got Abdul Carter, Nolan Smith on rookie contracts. Every guy in the front 4 is under a rookie contract. You save money that way. Instead of having to give and trade for an asset like Myles Garrett, which you were talking earlier, we all were. You get a rookie deal on that, and you got that guy for 5 years. That's under the assumption you think he's the next Michael Parsons.
Well, hopefully he's better.
Yeah. Hopefully he likes to play to run.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's what I did at number 2, the 64th pick. I'm going tight end here. I mean, they've shown you in the past that they're willing to use a 2 on Zach Ertz and also on Dallas Goedert, that they're willing to go that high. I don't think they'd go 32 unless you're going to trade up and get that kid from Penn State and try to get up there and get him. But I got a tight end at the 2nd pick in the draft at 64. Where are you going?
Nah, I like it. To me, it would be either tight end or probably defensive line. Or safety. It's to me, those are your 3 positions. You in the first 3 picks, you've got to hit, in my opinion, edge rusher, safety, and a tight end. So I think those need to be your first 3 picks. However it goes, best player available at but those 3 positions.
Is there a position on the team you have concern over?
Safety.
Safety is your biggest concern. Why?
Safety and cornerback are my two biggest concerns because you don't have any if you look at the defensive line like Sweat and Milton, at least I say I have guys who are young who have showed that they could play. Who has shown that they could play at safety right now?
No one.
Sidney Brown. So I don't trust Sidney Brown. So and I'm not saying that as a slight on him. I have to see more from him. So I don't know what we have at safety. I don't think we have anything, at least on the defensive line. I said, well, look at Jalen Hurts, how he played down the stretch. Look at the way Nolan Smith played. Look at Ojomo. They played well. Nobody behind C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And then the other one is corner. I have no idea what to think of Ringo. I'm okay giving him an opportunity. I'm not neither high on him or against him. Like I'm kind of like wait and see. But you don't really have anybody there, too. I guess you could kick Cooper DeJean outside, but that creates a whole other thing. Safety would be my number one concern right now on this team.
Do you agree on the Eagles, the most replaceable position on the team is right guard?
Yeah.
I think Isaac Seumalo, you put Cam Jurgens over there, you got Mekhi Becton, and to me, now here would be my problem, though, with Tyler Steen. Do you not agree with me on this? If that kid Kenyon Green walks in and beats him out, Tyler Steen is a bust as a third-round pick because he couldn't win the job last year when it came to beating out Mekhi Becton. You drafted him to be a starter. Top 3 rounds, you're looking for a starter out of that. If he can't beat that stiff out, who's graded one of the worst guards, I mean, you got a problem there, and he turns out to be Andre Dillard, in my opinion.
Maybe. I like Steen that he could play multiple positions. I kind of like him in a backup. I think the guy you got to watch is that
swing, like a swing guard.
I like him in that spot. Let him stay there. I like Trevor Keegan. Let's give that kid a chance. They were really high on him out of that draft. Let's see what he can do and how he can develop. The one guy I don't worry about is Stoutland. Not to mention, they're going to pick up offensive linemen somewhere in this draft. So I'm not worried about the offensive line.
Do you re-sign Becton? Do you want him back? Do you think he's a priority? Because Chicago reportedly is offering him north of $11 million annually.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I wonder if you leave Philly, will you be the same? I really wonder that. I wouldn't mind Becton back. Of course, I would like to get him back if we could, but I'm not gonna sweat it if we don't. I think we got guys that can fill in. But I would like him back.
Here's the thing here. Again, they're counting. Would you agree? There's definitely more pressure on Vic Fangio this time around to try to go out and duplicate what he did a year ago. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess so. People saw it once, want to see it again. Yeah, I could see that. But I sure like the way they develop the young guys, man. I think that they're doing a good job with that. I think they just need to continue to do that. Get depth pieces.
Isn't that a 1-year thing, Philly? They didn't.
What's that?
What happened in 23? How come they didn't develop in 23?
Well, I think you didn't have the coaching staff to develop some of these guys.
Okay.
First of all, and I think that the addition of 3 guys. I think you had an addition of 3. We'll say 4 guys. Zach Bond, DeJean, Quinion. Okay, those 3 guys. You could even say Gardner-Johnson and Jalen Hurts. I mean, those were guys that weren't on that team. That you added.
I got one last one here for you. Are you concerned about the history of injury to Nolan Smith and Nakobe Dean? Both guys may not be available for the start of the season. Especially, they're definitely not going to be ready for OTAs. And Nakobe will not be ready even for training camp. Are you concerned about the fact that you may have to do more work there at edge and linebacker? Because, again, Nakobe Dean has not played 1 year in Philly where he's not ended on IR. And Nolan Smith has only played really 7 really good games because he took over for BG after Brandon Graham got hurt. And then at the end of the year, he had to go under the knife.
I would say not. I'm okay with Nolan Smith. Like I feel okay with him. I do worry about Nakobe Dean though. because it's multiple years. There's been issues. So I think Dean is a concern health-wise for me. And as far as like adding, they need to add 2 edge rushers, in my opinion, anyways. I think they need to find a veteran that can come in and rotate in. And then I think they need to draft a guy. So they need to do that anyways. But Nakobe Dean's injury history does worry me. He's been hurt every year with us.
Okay, finally here. Do you believe that Dallas Goedert is on the football team by the end of the day?
End of the day? End of the day, yes. End of the draft, no.
Do you think he starts the season in Philly in September?
It doesn't sound like it. No, it doesn't sound like, from everything we're hearing, it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. So my hope is that they restructure his deal and that, somehow keep him in Philly one more year. I think it's a mistake to let him go. I don't think you have anybody to take over. That's the same issue I have with the CJ thing. You don't have anybody behind those guys. At least Sweat and Milton, you have some guys, but who do you have? Nobody. So it doesn't sound good for Goddard being here.
I want to throw some love out to Mark Holmes. He was going to come on, but obviously he lost his father-in-law. So we give him a lot of love there for that, and I sent we sent a message to him, and he was telling me about. Then he started talking to me a little bit about the Eagles, and I was like this. I go, Hoss, I don't want to get into anything with the Cowboys, but DeMarcus Lawrence is now going to Seattle. I feel your pain. I go, we pray for you. I'm sorry you got to go back to covering that shitty team.
To me, there's a team that, they've made a few signings, but to me, they haven't done anything that changes anything. They got a cheap running back, doesn't scare me. They didn't do anything with a wide receiver, so that doesn't scare me. I think both them and Washington, how they were not in on the DK Metcalf, I don't understand. I thought that would have been a huge gain. They just traded for a corner who was a former first-round talent that hasn't been great. So, maybe they could turn him around. I don't know. But Dallas to me hasn't improved really that much at all.
Would it shock you if Washington signed Cooper Kupp?
It wouldn't shock me. But, he's another guy. It's like, great, but can he stay healthy? That's the thing with him.
Any of the team that, for me, is the Rams. I think the Rams got better.
I think the Rams are, to me, I think are the biggest threat to the Eagles right now.
Yeah.
I think Rams and Lions would be the 2 threats.
Would you not agree that both Les Snead and Kevin Demoff kind of do exactly what they're probably as close to the Eagles on how they handle their cap and how they handle players and player development to Philadelphia? And here's why. They pushed all their chips in and used their credit card to win that Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They took one down season, and now they're bouncing back. And they're starting – look at the draft picks they landed on last year. Dude, you can say all you want about the Eagles rookies. They got Cameron Kitchens. They got that kid Verse. They got that kid Fisk. All those guys turned out to be top-flight starters, man. They're doing a good job. They got that kid Kobe whatever, right, from a year ago. Kobe Turner, that defensive tackle, now down in there too. So they're hitting on their draft picks.
They are. Now that they have them again, because they had like a 2-year stretch where they had none. So, and they got Devontae Adams. I think that they've gotten better. Do I think they could overtake the Eagles? I don't, but I think they're as close as anybody. I think them, Detroit, I think there's questions with Detroit. They got a lot of new coaches, so we'll have to see with them. But I think the top 3 teams in the conference are the Eagles, the Rams, and the Lions. That's how I would go.
On the way out the door here, wouldn't you say, I think the Eagles, with what they did with the minusing of the players on their team, I think they closed the gap. But the question is, the gap size is still significant. You know what I'm saying? They did move the yardsticks to get closer to them because of the losses.
They did. And we got to wait. We still got the draft. we still have to see what the Eagles really look like. They're cleaning house and getting their house in order right now before they start making additions. So we have to kind of wait to see who they're going to bring in, what they're going to do draft wise. I expect the Eagles to be really aggressive in the draft. I mean, they're usually either aggressive in the draft or in free agency. So they're quiet right now, but I expect them to make moves at some point, hopefully. But
So
I
you're
don't
not
like to see
expecting-
Gardner-Johnson.
You're not expecting an AJ to the Patriots today.
Oh God, no. No, see, I would lose my mind over that. I would lose my mind because I think he's too important to your offense to let him go. It's not like there's a wide receiver you could bring in, or it's not like we have a young wide receiver who is dying to have the opportunity to start. We don't have anybody. Who do we have after him? And I don't believe a team's given the 4th overall pick. I don't believe it.
I got to sneak one more on you. You like Chicago? What they're doing?
Well, I like what they're doing, but it seems like they do it every year. They do a lot, and nothing mounts out of anything. But we'll see what they do. I'm not worried.
I think Mrs. Caleb Williams with the pink fingernails. I don't know. I'm not buying the kid, man. I mean,
yeah. I think he's got talent, but we'll see what he does. Chicago, to me, it seems like Chicago's aggressive in free agency every year, and nothing ever comes of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. So, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I don't think Mrs. Williams is. I don't think he's the answer up there. Can you imagine? You moved off of Justin Fields. You just got a $30 million deal to quarterback the Jets, and now you're looking at Caleb Williams, and you got to figure out if he's the guy. You went out and got him all the receivers. You got him an O-line now.
Yeah.
And if that guy ain't the guy, you're going to purgatory if you're a quarterback. If you're in Chicago, Philly, tell the folks how they can find you. This is a great
just type in
year.
Philly 500. Yeah, type in Philly 500, and I'll come right up. It's the
You
best
got
way
it,
to
brother.
find me.
Thanks a lot so much
Thanks,
for coming
my man.
aboard. You got
Appreciate
it.
it.
That is our friend Philly 500. Yeah, I'm not sold on Mrs. Caleb Williams. I'm not sure yet. I got to see that kid play. They're bringing talent in for him, to say the least, man. Absolutely awesome stuff. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We are into the NFL new season, and I've yet to see anything significant except the greatness of Van Sumeren. It's Van Sumeren season. Holy cow. The signing of Van Sumeren. That's the Eagles' big move. What you doing? Zach Bond. Love it. 2 dudes. No external free agents. Unbelievable. All right. Don't forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Absolutely awesome, folks, that they are part of this program. They are the #1 injury law firm in the United States. They got a resume of over $20 billion. You see some firms have $2 billion or $1 billion, $20 billion in recovery for families across the country with thousands of attorneys that end up helping families. Like here in Pennsylvania, a family with $650K was offered when it came to a settlement. No way. Morgan & Morgan got that family nearly $30 million in recovery. About the family I talked about in Central Florida there. They were initially offered $350K, came back, Morgan & Morgan got that family nearly $12.5 million for a settlement. That's what Morgan & Morgan does. If you're ever injured, please check out my friends at Morgan & Morgan. Listen, the fee is free unless they win. All you have to do is go see my friends at forthepeople.com/bigsills or pound law 529. That is forthepeople.com/bigsills or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sills sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
I wanted to double check something here. And I just read the CBA. Can you defer dead cap money? Yes, NFL teams can defer a portion of the dead cap money, but it's not a complete deferral. They can spread the remaining cap hit over 2 years if the player is released or traded as of June 1st. That is the line when it comes to dead cap money. So I got to make sure, because I had an idiot in here try to fucking tell me that you can't defer dead cap money, and you can defer it. So I want to double check that, and I wanted to make sure that we were putting that out there. You can defer the dead cap dough. So that guy's an idiot who said that you couldn't do it. That's exactly what they did with the Alshon Jeffries deal. Okay? It's exactly what they did. Here's the line here, and I want to double read it again for you. NFL teams can defer a portion of the dead cap money, but it's not a complete deferral. They can spread the remaining cap hit over 2 years if a player is released or traded on June 1st. That's the deal. Just so you know. So somebody's sitting there trying to tell me about the deal. That's how you dealt with the Alshon Jeffries deal. By the way, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. The 1-year deal for Darius Slay is insane. Okay? It's absolutely insane. But that's, again, 1 year, $10 million. Hey, Xander, you were right. That's the number that was landed on. Can you bring Slay? Remember, he said, I think you said 10. I said 8. And I kind of went, "God, you're crazy. 1 year, 10, that's too high." Steelers just gave it to him. Okay? Steelers just signed him to that. So, absolutely true. I mean, look, Goddard's still under contract. So you're going to still have to probably wait and see how this thing's going to play out. I think it's just going to be interesting to see how they do this. I do. I think it's going to be something that they're going to have to sit back and decide what to do. Do you want to bring him back? Do you think he's one of the core guys to bring back? And is he that important to your football team coming back? He's a luxury, just like the defense is a luxury. How important is it in a priority for the Eagles in the passing game? Okay, how much of a priority is it? Having him back. I'm going to look at the draft picks again, and I want to reemphasize what we said here in the open. There's no doubt. Please hit the like button. By the way, give me a total on the likes. That's right. Yale's right. These people are on the phones right now. They're on the phones right now. A.J. Brown, is that a reality? It's more of a reality for New England. Is it a reality for the Eagles? No. 264? Guys, let's see if we can get to 300 likes by the end of the program. It'd be great. You guys have been absolutely sensational today, and I can't thank you enough. Thousands of people watching us right now, and we appreciate you guys being in here with us now. So thank you, guys. We had thousands of people watching us today throughout the entire day. 279 on the likes. Guys are killing it. We'll get there. And I'm more with Senor here and Xander. But again, Senor, you can make somebody an offer they can't refuse. You give me the 4th pick for A.J. Brown and a 3, I'm thinking about it. Because it alleviates a lot of my future stuff that I have to do with trying to find an edge rusher. Or do I go Travis Hunter? Dude, A.J. Brown is not finishing his career in Philadelphia. That is not happening. Name me one big-time wide receiver that will end his career in a place. Justin Jefferson won't. None of them will. Not even Cooper Kupp. There is no modern-day wide receiver in the last 6 years that has signed these big contracts that will remain with the team they had when they were initially drafted. Nobody in the last 5 years with these big-time contracts. Alshon Jeffries fucking ended his career where? In the place he was initially drafted? You must not know. That's a great... Hey, I said, once again, Gabe, in the last 5 years, Mike Evans is not the highest paid receiver in the sport. He's not. He's not. St. Brown will not. Every one of these guys will be moved. Every one of them. Every one of them. Moving what goalpost? Mike Evans signed a nice contract. He wasn't one of the top 5 paid guys at his position. Holy shit. Goalpost? How about a listening lesson, dickhead? Okay. He will not end his career in Detroit. He will not. Maybe. Maybe. The Eagles this year may take a step backwards to take 4 steps forward. We are now learning potential trade destinations for Dallas Goedert are heating up. Jaguars. Goddard to stay in Philly, 2 years, $10 million. With 12 guaranteed, they're lowering the money. That's what's being projected. Chargers, Jaguars are starting to emerge as potential landing sites for Dallas Goedert. Okay? You may take a step backwards to take giant leaps forward and to stay completely competitive. By the way, here's what you got to look at. This is like a stock here right now, the Eagles. You're selling off assets now. And you're trying to create cap integrity. The cap is the key here. It always has been the key for the Eagles and their success. Okay? CeeDee Lamb will not finish his career in Dallas. I don't think the Eagles will give up Brown to the Patriots, but they could agree on a deal for Goddard. Tight end is a quarterback's best friend, especially in this league. Absolutely. Jerry Jones was right about the Eagles. He was dead on at training camp. He said the Philadelphia Eagles were going to have to start making tough decisions. And they are. They cut loose of a defense. And Xander's right. I just absolutely love the fact that defense and what they accomplished and who they were. I've got to come to the conclusion, if you're ever going to talk defense in Philly, it's a one-year proposition. Because they are not ever going to maintain a unified. Hey, get this. They're never going to do what they do on defense, what they do on offense. Or vice versa, excuse me. Never do on defense what they do on that offensive side of the ball. They're never going to be committed financially to anybody on defense longer than a 3-year deal. They'll give multiple contracts. Do we not agree? How many guys on the offensive side have gotten multiple contracts and extensions? They don't do that over there. That's not what they do. Okay? It's just not what they. By the way, it's a philosophical way of doing business. Get this. This guy thinks this guy thinks they're going to change. They're not going to do that. They'll make a commitment to Jalen Carter and probably that. Hey, by the way, to say that Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell are going to have long-lasting NFL careers, that's still up for grabs. I don't know that yet. We'll see. It's conjecture. Can they play? Yes. Will they have the impact that they had this past season? I don't know. I saw Gardner-Johnson or Sauce Gardner the last 2 years walk back from his first year. His best year was his first year. I don't know. We'll see. Not everybody's career plays like that. Some guys excel and continue to elevate. Some guys take longer time, like BG. Some guys come on later in their careers. Some guys come on earlier in their careers and fade. It's facts. Okay? That's a projection, not reality. Okay? What would Jerry know about winning championships? Well, he's got 3 rings. How many you got again? But I agree with you, M. Reyes. What would he know? Everything he's trying to change. And M. Reyes, you're right. because he's trying to, without a doubt. You know why he wouldn't put Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor? That would validate that Jimmy Johnson was the guy who called it and did all the decisions football-wise. You're right. Okay? I got you, man. Emrayes, you're right. He tried to change history on the Charles Haley trade, and it turned out that was not true. Last Super Bowl they won, they paid everyone. Not true. Not true. They were the youngest team and the cheapest team when Jimmy was there. The coaches, even on that staff, were some of the lowest paid guys. Not true. They were all draft picks. How could they be the highest paid guys? When Jimmy was there, they were all on first-year deals. Oh, the Eagles. Got you. Got you, brother. Trade Goddard to the Chargers for Derwin James. Hey, that's nice. Derwin James, FSU kid. Hey, James, he's one of my favorite players in the league. Man, I love him. What a football player he is. Could you imagine him playing safety for the Eagles next to Reed and Cooper DeJean and Q? Man, what a headhunter he is. I fucking love Derwin James. He is one of my favorite football players. Derwin James is too old. Folks, tell everyone how old Derwin James is. He's too old. He's too old. Was he 27, 28? He's 28. Too fucking old. I don't think so. For safety, no thank you. He's way too young. He's in the prime of his career, 28. He's 28 years old at the start of the NFL season. 29 years old. You want to trade for a 33-year-old safety. Or you want to sign a 33-year-old Justin Simmons. He's past his time. Hey, Sue, you don't have a safety on your roster right now that's good enough to take over for Gardner-Johnson. That's my opinion. You show me. You let me know when that happens. Okay? This guy doesn't want Derwin James, but he'll take Sidney Brown starting over him. Okay. Yeah, the guy's 6'2", 220, playing safety for you, knocking people out. Sure, okay. Let me ask you this. Do you have the corner on your football team right now to take over for Darius Slay? And do you think you can replace him in the draft? I don't. Okay? Who are you going to replace him with? Draft pick? Who are you going to replace him with? So you're going to sign Asante Samuel to a $9-10 million deal, and you just got rid of Gardner-Johnson. Handsome, what's the point of getting rid of Gardner-Johnson? Because you don't like him? Here's what I don't think. I don't think you have the edge rusher to replace Sweat yet. I think Hunt, you guys are giving way too much valuation on him. I think let me ask you this. If the Eagles draft an edge rusher, do you really think they believe that Jalen Hunt is the guy who's going to start? Or that Bryce Huff is going to start at edge? No. If they draft an edge, they don't believe the guy's on the team. Yeah, that's a great point. Asante Samuel, don't compare him to his dad. You see the name Trotter and Samuel, Asante Samuel, and you assume they're like that. Okay? I don't. Yeah, you're not. The Chargers are not getting rid of. When I saw him at Ole Miss, I'm working on Lane Kiffin coming on the program too, the head coach of Ole Miss, because I think there's something to the kid. I've seen him play. He's got a great evaluation. He's very athletic. He's a big dude. And anybody in the Southeastern Conference that's in the trenches, I'm always going to be a fan of in the trenches like that. Okay? I do. I don't. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate you guys. What's going on, man? You guys are telling me that there's something going on with the internet? Not here. We're good. Senor, Eagles will have 20 draft picks in the next 2 years, 11 picks in the first 4 rounds. I think that's great. I think they're building to that. And I think they're evaluating for that. Absolutely true. Yeah, no, hey guys, that's good. Think what happened? Just buffered. Okay, good. Yeah, we never dropped either. All good. You did free sales. Thanks, 4x4. See, I like this guy here. He gives me a ton of shit. But we're good, brother. We are. Sales froze for a second, but I reloaded back. All good, brother. All good. I'm waiting to see this thing with Goddard here. Why would they trade the best wide receiver? People are asking. I agree. I think New England's trying to will that. Hey, folks, I'm telling you right now, the Eagles are in active conversation with teams. The Chargers seemingly are, as you know, they follow me on Twitter. I'm very good friends with the Spanos family. I know people in that organization. Actually, they do follow me on my X account at Dan Sileo Show. And we have numerous conversations back and forth. And I believe they're trying to trade for Dallas Goedert. They want Goddard for Justin Herbert. That makes sense because they really haven't had a tight end in the building probably since Antonio Gates. That kid they had that went up to New England for a bit was a pretty decent ball player. But I would suggest to you that Dallas Goedert, the issue with Goddard has never been that the guy sucks. It's always been health. That has been the problem there with him. Carmine doesn't think he's going anywhere. Carmine, the Eagles are trying to trade him. That's not a rumor. Okay? It's not a rumor. Sills needs to move out of that shit state, Cali. That wasn't on my end, but I do agree. Can you move from Goddard? Look at a transition from Ertz to him. We were fine, and we got dogs on outside. Listen, I would say this. You guys have always been great at the tight end position. I'll say this to you. The tight end position, and Xander had a point, and he was trying to make a point, and he did. But let me expand on it. Why do you think the wide receiver position that's not right. That's not right. Yeah, he's right, though. Box of strawberries won't cost me $65. It cost me $10. That's damn right. Why do you think the Tide? That's great, guys. 321. See if we can get up to 350 by the top of the hour. You guys have been awesome. It's a fun day, man. It's a fun week. Why do you think the tight end position is so coveted in the NFL today, and why the great teams have all great tight ends? It's the mismatch against the safety, and it's the mismatch against the linebackers in today's NFL. That's why the Eagles were so good this year. They were better in covering tight ends and backs out of the backfield than they were in 22, even with a good linebacking core. Last year, you guys were atrocious and couldn't cover a cold last year. This year, you were great at all of that, and your defense excelled because of that. Covering tight ends. Guy like Travis Kelce and Gronk, who are you covering him with? The eighth best player on your team at linebacker? Benjamin Morrison, cornerback from Notre Dame in the second. Name me one defensive football player outside of Kyle Hamilton in the last 10 years that has come from Notre Dame that has been good on defense. Name me one. Name me one. Outside of Kyle Hamilton. Name me one in the last 10 years out of Notre Dame defensively. That's been a star in the NFL. Name me one. You really want to draft a corner out of Notre Dame? I don't. Mike Litt, who? Name me one. They don't have good players defensively. They don't have one. Joke with the Browns, who? You can't name me one guy. They don't develop defensive players. They're not good. Shit, you want to go back? That's 40 years. You know why Notre Dame gets destroyed when they have to play good teams? Because they don't have good defensive talent. Everyone from Notre Dame sucks, even coming out of their high schools, except Hamilton. It's pretty correct. Every guy that plays at Notre Dame defensively that goes into the NFL is horrible in the modern day. Wait a minute. Here's the difference on what Xander says here, though. As much as I fucking hate the Gators, they play in the SEC. Players out of that place, it's Southeastern Conference. As much as I hate them, and I do, they're still SEC. Notre Dame, their talent evaluators cannot be trusted. They're really good college kids. You can't name me a defensive guy in 10 years, even under Brian Kelly, that's been a star in the NFL outside of Kyle Hamilton. You want to draft a corner that plays against fucking Marshall in Northern Illinois and gets beat by Northern Illinois? No, thank you. I'll take a guy from Vanderbilt who gets beat by LSU in a game on a Saturday more than I'll take a corner from Notre Dame getting beat on a Saturday playing against Marshall and Northern Illinois. Notre Dame's defense balled out last year and got destroyed in the fucking postseason. Easiest schedule in the country. Then play one top 25 team at the end of the year when everything was said and done. How you doing? And got the worst loss of any team in the playoffs, losing a 7-6 Northern Illinois team. How you doing? I mean, you lose to Northern Illinois at home. Hey. Yeah. How you doing, Notre Dame? God, I love whipping the fuck out of that program. Sorry. Man, I hate that program more than you know. Beat Georgia's ass. Go get him at D. Xander only likes Notre Dame. I know why he likes him. I get it. I'm in the same boat he is. You see the Catholic High hat up there? I'm in the same thing he's in. I got it. What do you think our colors are? Notre Dame colors, just about, except for we're yellow instead of gold, but we had green. We kind of look like them when we put our gear on. That's okay. Touchdown Jesus took a knee this year in the playoffs, too. How you doing? Ohio State destroyed Notre Dame. Ohio State could have ran the score up. Ohio State could have scored 100 on them. I wish they did. Sills, I like the safety from Iowa. Hey, go get him. If he's anything like Cooper DeJean. Notre Dame players never pan out in the NFL, just like Duke Hoop players. Amen. And Indiana basketball. Yeah, good old touchdown Jesus. I hated putting a 40 spot on him up there. I think we beat him up there once, 40-0. Missed your super chat? If we did, we'll get it. We promise. There you go. How you doing? Big Cells, part of the team that gave Notre Dame their worst ass beating in program history. How you doing? That's pretty true. Yeah, look at this. Really? How many games did he play for Duke? 10. Look at this guy. 10. Kyrie Irving, Grant Hill is the only other guy. Jason Tatum, you're right, Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum and Kyrie Irving played 10 games for Duke. How you doing? He played 16. Oh, excuse me. He played 16 games. Jason Tatum, Grant Hill, in 35 years under Coach K. Who's the next one? Elton Brand? J.J. Redick? Give me he was there 35 years. He was there 35 years. Kyrie Irving played 16 games at Duke. Jason Tatum, fair enough. Outside of that, those are the three stars. Grant Hill, Irvin, and Tatum. In 35 years at Duke Hoop. How you doing? I played 16 games. Duke gets credit for Tatum. All right. Oh, wait a minute. I thought it was only 10, but it was 11. Big Cells strikes again. Name me an Indiana player outside of Isaiah Thomas. That was a good hoop player. 30 years that Knight had the program. Name me one. Rod Woodson. Not that one. Name me Larry Bird. Yeah, this is like Larry Bird, get this. So Pump is very smart because Larry Bird went to Indiana and then transferred to Indiana State. How you doing? Couldn't handle old Bob talking shit to him. And Calbert Chaney, I like Calbert Chaney. I did. I like Calbert Chaney. I like that Indiana program, actually. I was a big fan of it. Quinn Buckner was decent in the NBA. Where are we going here? Let me check and see if Goddard's still on the team. He's still on the team. Big Sills has been calling this for 3 weeks. Dallas Goddard. Gone. How you doing? Sills, is Embiid of Notre Dame opinions? M. Reyes, your takes are as bad as the Jets' football seasons. He didn't tender Britton Covey. He's a free agent now. Oh, Britton Covey. Not Crash Test. Shit, he follows me on X too. after that whole debacle last year with him getting called out and Big Sills having to call him out, we have a secret powwow. We have a secret understanding, Britton Covey and I. Britton Covey follows me on X. Go check it out. And we communicate kind of weekly. And he's been kind of giving me a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. But I've had to keep that off the books until, he was no longer officially an Eagle. How you doing? How you doing? I like Britton, though. He said, hey, man. It's all right. Yeah. Oh, little news coming down. Patriots and Eagles are talking more about a trade for A.J. Brown. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. No way. No way. I got it. Hang on for a second. Here. We'll do it right now live. Alonzo. You off. Okay. So I just text him. See what he says. He works in the front office with Elliot Wolf. See what he says. I don't believe it. I'll know where to go here in a minute. This guy's been my brother for 40 plus. I've known Alonzo Highsmith since I was 40, or I've known him for 40 years. I've known him since I was 19 years old. So we'll know here a little bit. They're working the phones, he says. Seals acts like he could see the tax. Hey, let me ask you something here, dickhead. How many people come on this program that are the biggest names in NFL history and that work in the NFL in the front offices? We've had 5 general managers on this program. You think I just what? Don't know these people? Like Brad Holmes, Chris Spielman, Dan Morgan, who's the general manager of the Carolina Panthers. I recruited Dan Morgan. Come on, kid. How you doing? I mean, people are building this show up for a reason. This is where people, hey, Jay, me too. Me too, dude. All good. See? Jay gets it. Jay, all good, brother. You get some snowflakes, though, that don't. Jay's cool with me. We're good, Jay. Seals, you should get Jason Light on. Yeah, man, I tell you what's really tough right now, getting these GMs on right now. It's now from here until the draft, it's almost impossible to get these guys on. They're like knee deep down in the trenches, working phone lines. Like talking to Howie right now is impossible. I do know this though, that I tried to get on Adam Peters through Doug Williams, and no way he ain't coming on for anybody right now because he's in the trenches right now trying to work deals, getting things. in line for the upcoming draft. Remember what you're doing right now. Here's Howie Roseman. Okay? That's what Howie's got scouts right. Hey, am I right when I say this? Today was Georgia. Today Georgia had their pro day, right? Okay. So Georgia had a pro day. Howie's got guys down at Georgia right now. There's a bunch of dudes that are going to go in the first round out of Georgia, right? So Howie's got guys at pro days, and he's working free agency at the same time. And they're working a draft board. They're doing all that right now. So to get a guy like that on, okay? Seals serious about AJ. Dude, I'm just telling you, this thing is real. Now, that don't mean it happens. Conversations are real. That the Patriots are trying to trade for him. Okay? How you doing? I would say, but see, people don't realize, like I said, I had some guy on my Twitter page over here trying to tell me that you can't defer. Like you see the guys that you're talking about with that money that's owed to A.J. Brown, you can defer 2 years of that money. Spread it out, or it's not a significant cap hit. It's not encompassing one hit. That's why the Patriots, because they have on $100 million, actually $120 million in cap space, that was at the start of free agency, that they could make that move to be able to, again, the cap would be on the Eagles side, so I'll take that back. The Willingham, you want him? You got to pay. See, Q, that's the philosophy you should have as an Eagle fan. Hey, you guys want A.J. Brown? Here's the price tag. 4th pick, Christian Gonzalez, or the 4th pick and a 2nd rounder. You can have them. Well, I don't want to do that. Well, neither do I. Well, Chris, you did $33 million for Wentz. You put on the books. I trade AJ for a first since they want him. It's not a first. It's the 4th pick. And you get a shot at Abdul Carter, which if you think he's the player who you think he is, then that's your guy. How you doing? Love it. I'm surprised Goddard's still on the team. They're trying to trade him. Multiple teams are inquiring. Let's see here. Wow. The Bears have that money? What are the Bears doing? Says we're not trading AJ for an edge rusher. He's missing it. It'll be for Travis Hunter. What you're trading for, RC3, is a young star potential player on a rookie contract, too. You're creating cap space with a rookie deal and potential in one move. That's what you're doing. Abdul going number 1 on list of Titans. No. The number 1 pick is going to be Cam Ward. I'm not trading AJ for a chance at 4 for Carter. Titans, Browns, Giants can easily take him. Cam Ward will go 1. The Browns just signed Myles Garrett. they'll probably take Travis Hunter. The Giants have Kayvon Thibodeau, and they have Brian Burns. So would they duplicate a third guy when they need a quarterback? That's Shedeur Sanders. This is how the top four are going to go. Cam Ward, Browns, they just signed Myles Garrett to a $40 million annual deal. They're going to sign Travis Hunter. The Giants are going to sign, in my opinion, that's why they're working out multiple quarterbacks in Cleveland. Russell Wilson, they traded for Kenny Pickett. They're not going to sign a quarterback here. They're going to sign Travis Hunter here. Then the Giants are going to turn around and sign Travis Hunter. And the fourth pick is going to be Abdul Carter. And that's coming from me. AJ was one of my favorite non-Eagle players. Look at how he says it too. Non-Eagle players. When we traded for him, I was hyped. Will it suck? Sure. Got to look at big picture. Well, that's what you're doing right now. You're looking at big picture. AJ said, or Alonzo says they're working the phones. That's all I can give you right now. I want to say too much more. I asked him about Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is being shopped around big time by the Eagles right now. They want to find him a decent home. Wow. Are they cutting cost or preparing for the future here? Speaking of that, got to pay some bills here, guys. Our great friends at BetUS. We appreciate these guys being part of the program. Thank you guys again, especially with the NC2A tournament coming around. And also, too, the conference championship basketball tournaments. This is a great way for you to go out there and join our partner, BetUS, for the YouTube 150. Sign-up bonuses up to $2K at 150%, and also 125% sign-up bonuses for your first and second and third. For your second and third, sign-up bonuses up to $2K. And if you're into crypto, that's 200% of a sign-up bonus up to $2K. Greatest place for you to go is BetUS. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days out of the year, live wagering on all major games. That's betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. What a day. What a week. What a time of the year, man. I mean, the suspense, the drama, there's more of it. Because remember what I told you a couple weeks ago? This is where NFL teams are building for a championship. It's the most important time of the year when it comes to your roster. Players executing during the season, obviously, that's when it pays off. What you do during the regular year, it pays off in all the hard work you did by building the roster in the offseason. What you do now, from free agency, from the start of the new season, all the way through the draft, and then into training camp, when you can still make moves. Okay, so the Eagles have signed A.J. Dillon. Is that correct? They've signed A.J. Dillon. All right. Making B signings. They signed a running back. All right. I like him. I think he fits a role. I thought he was a guy up there with Aaron Jones, if I'm not mistaken. I thought he kind of was like a substitute teacher up there for him. For Jones when they were, I like the player. I do. He's not going to be expensive. He's helped for, he knows the role. I think that's a good sign. That's a smart sign. So now what you do is you address that instead of having to deal with it in the draft. That's not a bad that's not a bad look. So A.J. Dillon, again, if you're looking at the stat numbers, that's not what they drafted him for. They drafted him, again, to play a role. And by the way, look at his numbers, man. They're pretty good for a guy who wasn't really a starting running back there. I mean, Josh Jacobs a year ago in Green Bay, that guy had 1,600 yards, didn't he? Look at his years. He's only, what is he? How old is he? 25? He's 25 years old. This is an upgrade from, I think, from Kenny Gainwell. Last 3 years, 803, 5 touchdowns, 770, and 7. This is all splitting time with Aaron Jones. 613 was in a passing offense under Matt LaFleur, was coached great. 16 touchdowns, 4-1 a carry. This is a great sign. This could be a hitting gem guy here. Only 597 carries in 4 years. He got really good carries, 187, 186, 178. These are all good numbers. 4-3, 4-1 behind that old line. Yeah, I like that sign. I do. I think that's a good sign there. This guy could be, like you said there, Leon, this could be more of a goal line and red zone guy. I think I like this sign. I'm a fan of this. 6'2", absolutely. 6'2", 25 years old. Not a lot of tread on the tire. By the way, do I think he could fill a role in case something happened to Barkley? I do. 17, 17, 15. He's durable. How about the receiving game? 34, 28, 22. 313 yards receiving. This guy had more receptions, I think, than Barkley did. Barkley may have been in the 30s. This is a backup, though. He had 34 3 years ago. That's a pretty decent sign, man. I like that. That protects your flank. Guy's 240, 6'2". I'm in. Good stuff, man. All right, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Fantastic day. Fantastic week. Keep an eye on Xander, man. He'll keep you updated, too. And also over on my X account at Dan Sileo Show. By the way, I'm trying to get to 20,000 followers, so hit up on that for me if you haven't joined my X account. We appreciate you guys so much. Big Z, Big Joe, thank you guys very much. 2 to 6 tomorrow. Should be more news coming around the corner here on what the Eagles are going to do. Keep an eye on that AJ thing up in New England. I do not believe it, but you never know. By the way, let me read this before I get the hell out of here, man. I like how you're doubling up on the run game. Old school smash mouth. You can transport that anywhere in any condition, especially in Philly. Absolutely. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the flip side.